We are brought to you by Boss Bears Supplements. That's Boss Bears Supplements at bossbears.co. Hard work, consistency, and determination are difficult to sustain when your mind and body can't keep up. Fuel your body with what it needs to perform like a boss. Whether you're closing deals, pitching a new business idea, or training in the gym, Boss Bears take your hustle to the next level. Our ingredients are the highest quality with potency and serving sizes that are the gold standard in the industry. Check out all of Boss Bears products at bossbears.co. They have apple cider vinegar gummies. They have ashwagandha. They have all kinds of supplements in delicious gummy form. They also have them in pill form if you don't want the gummies. I prefer the gummies. They are delicious, and I've tried the apple cider vinegar. They are very good. Use code Nicky at checkout to save 10%. That's bossbears.co, code Nicky. We are brought to you by Clout Power Supplements. That's KLOUTPWR.com. So here I have the protein, the Cravings protein from Clout. This one is the salted caramel. This is some of the best protein that I've ever had in my life. It's actually delicious. I like the salted caramel and the cinnamon swirl are my two favorites. Also, their pre-workouts are amazing. So they have the Karma Nootropic pre-workout. It's a nootropic and focused pre-workout. It's a lower stimulant formula, zero itch formula. It has 4 trademark ingredients, and has fully dosed ingredients. So far, the Arctic Cherry is probably my favorite of the Karma pre-workout. Also, try the Nero Aminos from them. And also the High Stimulant Mamba is some of my favorite too. And I really like the Arctic Cherry of that one. So go to cloutpower.com and use code Nicky to save 15%. KLOUTPWR.com. Code Nicky to save 15%. All right, everybody, welcome to the Nicky Free Podcast. We are here with my boy Eddie Lowery. And how you doing, dude?
I'm doing absolutely phenomenal, man. I am so appreciative to be back.
Yep. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, man. I love our conversations.
So what's been new since last time, dude? I know you had I talked to you just yesterday, and you were talking about streaming some of your podcasts live possibly. And then you were saying you had a pretty heavy episode with somebody.
Yeah. I never know what to expect ever. I always get caught off guard. But before we jump in, I want to say thank you everybody for listening in to another episode. I think these conversations are meant to happen. I think Destiny can kind of bring us to have conversations. If you and me were just drinking at a bar and we have some in-depth conversation because we bring down those barriers,
right.
We're kind of forcing ourselves to do it now. So yeah. I want to say thank you, man, so much for having me again.
I appreciate you being here, man. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. So what's new? I plan on over the next year, keep producing as much content as possible with these conversations.
Yeah, and now how many? You're doing a lot of episodes, I feel like.
Yeah, I've done nine in a week once.
Yeah, pretty prolific with them, and it's impressive to see that, dude. It's crazy. I swear, I'm always seeing another one pop up and another one pop up. So that's good. How do you keep up with all that?
Well, I have a very gracious wife, understanding that these. There's so much can happen.
Rhiannon, how's she doing?
Rhiannon, she's doing phenomenal. She's over there at Moda right now. She's she started her new career. She's working out of a salon after graduating hair school.
So like cutting hair and stuff?
Yeah, man.
Dude, that's dope. That's like what my mom did when I was a kid.
I love that.
I love that. Yeah.
But yeah, she's killing it, dude. I had no idea they have like not apprenticeship programs, but pretty much like, okay, you got your license. Let's show you how to be a phenomenal hairstylist. So she's been working with some of the really good stylists down there in Edmonds, Washington at Moda, and I really, really think it's great for her to work on her craft. And I don't.
Yeah, is that something she's been doing for a while, or is she just learning?
Yeah,
so she's already been in it a while.
Because she finished hair school and then she moved on to doing that, and seeing somebody that you love and you care for on the level of love that I have for her. Yeah. It's overwhelming. I don't want to get too emotional and cry a bunch.
And then see that she's kind of on her path, doing something she loves, which that's pretty dope. Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things. But that's what's going on for me. Just hoping to be better every day, breaking down these barriers that separate us as humans, some tough conversations as well. But before we get on to that, I just want to say I brought you a little thank you gift.
Man.
Some
What
bourbon,
do we got?
man. One of my favorite, James and Pepper, 1776. It is what I usually drink on my birthdays and all the time.
Dude.
That's one of my favorites.
So James and Pepper's 1776 straight bourbon whiskey.
Oh yes.
And so I shouldn't be having this. So I'll have a little bit.
Just a taste. Just a taste.
Should we open it?
Yeah, we should crack it open, man. It's yours. Yeah.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Shouldn't mess up my prep too much.
Yeah. I mean,
I hit my cardio today, so.
Your cardio and last night.
Yeah. And last night you can attest because I was on the phone with you while I was doing my cardio, bro.
Absolutely. There.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Everybody listening back home, I'd like to propose a toast to every single human being who serves our United States military, who's deployed right now, and their families, man.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
I can never even put in words the things that the family goes through. And shout out to a special young lady who I served with, Nicole Calkins, her husband's going through his first deployment with her being back home after she left the military. And it's my heart goes out to them, and it'll be over before you know it. Much love. I'll pray for him every night, and to everyone out there who's deployed and the families,
yes.
much love, y'all.
Yeah,
Cheers,
man.
brother.
Thank you, and thank you for your service too, man.
Oh yeah, that's good.
Ooh, that's really good.
Yeah, I definitely.
Damn, bro, thank you.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed
that
it.
is really good stuff, dude.
Yeah, I sip it and I try to think big thoughts.
Damn. Yeah, like if we just had a cigar with that, shouldn't be smoking either, though.
Yes, I haven't smoked a cigar in almost
a
year, except for just the other weekend. I went out.
Did you quit consciously, or was it just like you just haven't been doing it?
Yeah, I think that
it's not good for you.
It's definitely not good for you.
Yeah.
But having your mind controlled by an addiction and
substances,
like any addictive substance that might cause you to return to me and give my money away instead of investing it in something I believe in, like my wife going to hair school or me becoming better.
We were literally talking about that on the last episode. Was that the last episode when I had? Oh no, that was the body shop. I had those guys were great too.
Oh, Miss Danielle.
Yeah,
and her lovely guy who runs the show.
Yeah, Jeff owns it.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah, they have such a good place there, man. Yeah, they were on. Before that though, he works there because he's a trainer there. I had Zach on. I don't know if you know Zach. He's a power lifter. Yeah. And we were literally talking about that, how because he's been getting really into what you just said, where instead of he's considered like screen times, all this stuff, we're always on our phone, which we're guilty of it. We have, for us, we need to use it for like promoting, and you're great at promoting your stuff on there.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Because you have to be, it's part of it. And we were talking about that with Jeff and Danielle too. Like Jeff hates, social media. Danielle's more like, all right, give me the body shop social media account. I'll run all that stuff since you hate it, because it's just a part of the world now. But what we were talking about and what Zach was talking about is like, look at all this time I have that I could be putting into making myself a better person. And so he was talking about these Shaolin monks and all this stuff, and like how they would, give like certain amount of hours per day at just like studying a craft, like to a very high level. And I got thinking about you too. I was like, man, right. I'm like, think about all this extra time. I'm like, I even have a buddy who like shoots guns and shit, and I'm always watching him. I'm like, I could probably get into that. Like, you've invited me before. I'm like, it's just like anything.
It's a lifetime open invitation.
Right.
Anybody who wants to go shooting with me, all you have to do is ask. I try to make it, for new shooters, a safe environment.
Totally. You'd be the best guy to go with, because everything you do safe. Yeah, you're big on that. So
yeah.
But it's like just the idea that we actually have all this time that we could be putting into, and it doesn't even have to be shooting. That's just what I was like. Ooh, that would be cool, But it's like, what are your thoughts on that? Yeah, that's kind of what you're trying to do, right?
100%. And they have it definitely dialed in. I just want to touch on that couple because they are a couple I look to with nothing but admiration. How they work together as a team. You can just see how calm and controlled they are around each other. They're at peace with each other.
Right.
And that's what I admire. That's a true great relationship. When I observed it, just how they interact, it's awesome, and they have great hearts. So I just want to say shout out to them. I try to look at my life in an analytical way of what do I need to change to be better every single day. So if I'm waking up at 4:45, which I do every day religiously,
Right.
and eat my oatmeal while I spend my first 15 minutes of the day sharing about the podcast of the day, or the podcast of the next day, or the podcast of last night.
Because you're doing that all the time. You're putting that work in every day, I know.
Every day. And it shows on my face. I'm not the prettiest guy anymore. I used to have great looks, but I'm aging fast. Lord help me.
You look great. You look great, dude. Don't worry. But no, I know what you mean. I'll get that too. Where I know, like, even now I've taken on some clients, and I'll go there in the morning to train, personal training, and I'll just be like, oh my God, I just look like death, because I'm like. But so no, I'm with you though. Getting up early like that, dude.
It's healthy.
I was even talking to my trainer because I had my first posing session with him because I'm doing this bodybuilding show in April, and so I got to get the posing down, and it's really hard. You've done some of that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm talking to him, and he's like, I usually get up. I do my cardio in the morning, my abs, and then I'll do some posing right away. And I'm like, yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to get up and beat the. It's hard, but you just have to get up, I feel like. Because once you get that stuff done in the morning, you feel so good.
Oh, my God. And there's nothing like it. I have a friend who I look for him religiously every day, too. I have an early morning buddy, so it's not just me, though.
Yeah.
There's a guy named Josh Wielden. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He is the person who...
So same gym.
No, different gym. He's way down there in Puyallup. I meet with him once a week for the MVP, group where we all do peer-to-peer support and come together. But he invented PNW Vets, and what they do is they connect resources between different veteran service organizations and just different veteran groups, and connect us all together so that we can effectively move in a direction to help each other.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of times where you can't just put out your hand and say, "Hey, government, give me help."
Right.
I have veterans that are struggling because a lot of times government takes a lot of time to answer that call.
Right.
It's way different when you have, a group of people. But he wakes up. Sorry, it's tangent. I just love that guy so much.
Now we should talk more about that. What you guys do? That's pretty dope.
But every morning he wakes up. He's up at the gym way down there in bumfuck Egypt, and I'm all the way up here.
Yeah.
And I think about it, and I'm like, I wonder if he's up. And sure as hell, he's putting up a little
like a video
like
or
a video or
something
of him, showing that what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another. I can't get the name off. I just recently met him.
Yeah.
He's another veteran, and he wakes up every morning and he's training with all his guys wearing his Army shirt. I love the Army. It's okay, but it's just not my jam. But he's over there
because you're a Navy guy.
Yeah, I was definitely in the Navy. I could have been. I would have.
There's always that little bit of friction.
There's always a little bit of. It's all fun and games, though.
Right.
But
I mean, you guys respect each other for sure, but there's always the different branches. I've noticed that they all got a little bit of something to say, about the other one, dude. No.
And seeing them in the morning, that's my team. Every morning, I'm awake before my neighbors. I'm awake before. I wake up with people who wake up on the East Coast.
Yeah.
So when they're awake, I'm already awake as well. So I'm sharing things for them, for them to see. Oh my God, you just had a conversation with. I'm not going to name his name. It was an anonymous podcast, and he talked about being something that not a lot of males want to talk about: sexual assault in the military against males.
Yeah.
And the effects of his friends committing suicide and how that affected him personally. Really heavy stuff, and it'll catch me off guard. So. Sometimes, like you talked about time management, my wife did a kind of a temperature check with me last night because I was pretty wrapped up in the conversation I had and spending too much time looking at my phone instead of dealing with what I just heard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very emotionally attached to other people.
Right.
So if you told me right now that your mom died, I would probably break down in tears.
Right.
With you, and because it hurts me to see to see people around me hurt.
Oh, it can get you, dude.
And but she was like, honey, you really need to limit your time dealing with these things so that you can process it and so that you can be where your feet are.
Right.
And being where your feet are is huge.
Mm-hmm.
So every morning my feet are sitting down in front of my fake fireplace. I press a little button on the heater. I got my back to it. I've got a towel or a bathrobe around me, and I'm messaging people, confirming dates, confirming appointments. And,
right. You understand that. It's so funny. Like. There's one thing I need to get better at is self-promotion, but the thing is like that I think I'm good at is like always getting, like you said, you have to have these people lined up. That's the thing about having a podcast, which probably better than anybody else I've had on here. Like you're always putting that time in, like going out and finding the next like round of guests that are going to be interesting people or people whose stories that you believe should get told, and You know, that's one thing I should ask you is like, did it surprise you how much like when you started out and then you start getting all these people, like for me the most surprising thing has been how much you get back out of like it turned into this thing where you have all these people sharing their story and it becomes like so powerful hearing like what other human beings go through in their life. And it like I guess when I started this I didn't realize it was going to be that have that kind of effect on me, just hearing what other people go through. And like we've had some really heavy episodes where like people were really open and honest about some of the stuff that, and it's not like it's stuff specific to them, it's stuff that all these other people out there struggling with the same type of things can relate to. And it's like it's really made me appreciate what we have going on here with these podcasts. Like I don't know, man, it's like some really cool stuff. Like,
well, you just said it right there. The key component is that pain is an adhesive. And I wish I could say I was the first person to say that. I really don't, but I like to say that phrase as a joke. Mm-hmm. Shia LaBeouf said that just today I listened to his conversation with a great human being, and he's sitting down there explaining all the mistakes he's made.
Dude, that's some heavy shit.
Domestic violence, growing up and like manipulating his own father into signing release forms so he can talk about his real life without suing him for sure, and making a movie, Honey Boy. And I plan on watching it probably later tonight. Dude,
I need to see that too. I just heard all about this too. Like, I'll keep going. I'll say what I have to say afterwards.
Please
I was just gonna say like that. You're right. That's some heavy stuff. I had no idea. And like, there was somebody else that was talking about Shia LaBeouf and you know all the stuff that he went through, and then by him kind of being open about it and then growing from it, it kind of was helpful. You know, like
and boy does he help others.
Right, his story can help a lot of men who have maybe made mistakes and need a second chance. Or
men have a big problem peacocking, man.
Yeah,
you'll see it when people get a little bit of alcohol and they want to wild out at the club and they get in arguments with other men just because they feel uncomfortable about who they are,
inadequate in themselves.
Yes, insecurities are just. Stop doubting yourself, brother, and pick your chin up for real. Pick your chin up. And remember who the hell you are. Mm-hmm. You are who you decide to be.
Yes.
You don't have to be your father's son. I'm a big advocate for that. Don't be your father's son.
Right.
Be who you are. Don't be the last. Like I almost cried on the way home driving today because my sister said that she is getting married, right? And she has to choose about her last name. Am I going to be the last Wallace or not? And I said, you know what? How about instead of being the last or continue the last name, be the first Brienne.
Yeah.
Be the first you.
Yeah.
That is where true beauty is found. And pain is an adhesive. You said it, man, just right. It sticks us together.
Right.
Like, I could be like, oh, man, I can't believe I fell and busted my knee when I was skateboarding. And I'll be like, dude, that shit happened to me too, man.
Yeah. It's... Or,
my friend committed suicide last week, and I don't even know.
It's rough,
I'm so mad at him. It's like, and man, that's happened to me too, brother. You never really learn how to process that type of stuff. But with friends, with peer support, just conversations with people, authentic relationships that you create. Like I know that you can call me anytime and say that you're going through a tough time, and I'd love to be there for you.
Right.
Because I want to have, and I strive, and I yearn at this fire that burns for me for creating authentic relationships with people.
Right. And help.
I can't do fake, man. It's just
now,
not me.
Doesn't that, the only thing with that is, and I know you're like that too, where because you help so many people that have these kind of issues, you're open, you're always saying that, like, if anybody needs to talk, you're always there. Now, is that kind of where your wife has to kind of step in and protect you a little bit because you maybe take too much on with that stuff? Like, where, like, you got to make time for yourself. I was going to say, because that's the only thing is I could see where that could kind of, like, that's a great quality, but, yeah, I could see where that could get really heavy for you,
That really makes me think, man, I want to try to walk myself into the answer to your question. I would say it's like a yes and a no,
right?
Honestly, because
I mean, I'm not saying stop what you're doing, obviously.
I 100%, man, and I don't take any offense whatsoever. I think it's an important question. I want you to always ask me the first thing that comes to your mind when I say something, and always tell me the first thing that comes to your mind and express yourself, man. It really, some days are absolutely terrifying and scary and terrible, and I'm gonna bring up a couple examples without naming names. I had a good friend reach out to me and say, hey man, our boy's in trouble. I haven't heard from him from weekends. I had some red flags. I think we should go check on him. I said, okay, who have you talked to about this? We got in contact with a couple of friends, and we popped up, and it didn't go over the way you'd expect. I'm not going to go into details, of course, because this is someone who I have so much admiration and care for.
Right.
But he was struggling.
Yep.
And whatever the circumstances, we were able to be there for him. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't an easy thing for me to do because I have a lot of issues in my family with my past of family's past of dealing with how we deal with alcohol, how we deal with PTSD, how we deal with trauma, how we deal with integrating in a society after being told to do things that congressmen and congresswomen sit behind a desk and argue with each other over. They signed in ink, and that's military members going overseas over here, senators making drug deals with other countries. Our veterans and our military members have this unspoken burden that they don't even realize sometimes. Mm-hmm. And being there for another friend, it can take a huge toll on you because you want nothing more than to see them happy. And it makes you really sad that they're sad. Right. And that, it can definitely weigh on you.
It weighs on you, but it's a necessary thing, though.
But I wouldn't even call it a necessary evil. I would call it a necessary obligation for me.
You got to be there for your people.
You have to. Your tribe is so important, and it can be so much stronger than your own family. For me, my tribe has been my family. I can name people: Sean Stokes, Jason Jarman, Josh Wielden. My wife, before we were married, she was my tribe. That was my person. Yeah. We met in high school, and I could tell just by how we
those bonds get so strong.
They get so strong. Yeah. And my brother Brian Click, man, being there.
Yeah, dude, I've seen all the posts you've made. He's like right there, just like really giving you shout outs, and he's like, you know what I mean? I can tell that there's a lot of love there.
So much.
I consider myself so lucky too that way with like my friends, my real good friends, like my friends back home, my wrestling family. Like, if you're a person like that has people that close to you, dude, like, I just feel like we're so blessed with that, like
Rich.
Yeah.
The best currency in life. I love my quotes I learned from people because I never come up with the quotes. I only have one quote to share with you today, and it's definitely not mine. But one of my favorite things I was ever told is the best currency in this life is the time that you spend with somebody else.
Yeah. Fuck.
Right now, you're paying me millions of dollars because all the conversations you've had over your entire life, even no matter how brief or how extensive they were, you're sharing them with me. You're sharing your love, your knowledge, your insight, your hatred, your pain, the things that move you. You're sharing the pain of being in a prep. And
yeah, it's not bad yet. It will be in the next few weeks.
But like even you mentioning prep, it brings me to remember that you're in a disciplined state right now. And in disciplined states, we heal, we grow, we power forward, man. And I absolutely love it. I absolutely love just everything about that.
Going through something really hard is probably one of the most cleansing things you can do to yourself. Mm-hmm. Like for your soul, I mean, like just getting yourself in that spot where it's like, I mean, I'm not even close to that yet, but I've done difficult things, and it's like, to me, I think those are where you really learn about yourself.
Yes, man.
And kind of like what you said earlier, where people who have these insecurities and they go out looking for fights and stuff, it's like, maybe they haven't been through enough of those things, because those are the things that are going to scrape all that insecurity off of you, dude.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? And when you get through them, you come away this different thing. And you there's times you get complacent and lazy again, yeah. But if you've been through those things, there's something where you're always kind of hold on and remember, like, I know how to do that, though. I know how to do that. And maybe if you get a little carried away with getting a little bit lazy and complacent, you're like, I need to, like, get a little of that back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes. And there's a direct correlation with what you said in bodybuilding. Right?
I think people are scared of, like, discipline and hard things, but it's like, you really won't appreciate the good, like, other things without those. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
It's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, we can't just have enjoyable experiences our whole life, because it's like, then you're not looking at the consequences of the enjoyable. Like, if life was meant to be just enjoyable, there wouldn't be negative consequences. Like, if I just want to drink all the time, or I just want to eat out with my friends all the time, or I just want to do this, and those are enjoyable experiences, that's great. But what about the negative experience? Like, so like if I just eat pizza and crap every day, I'll end up, my health will suffer.
Yes, brother.
So if the world was set up in a way where like those, like all we were supposed to do is enjoy things, then there would be no negative consequences of enjoying things. So like to me, it's like you got to remember there's balance. And so sometimes doing the difficult things actually gives you positive effects. You know, I don't know where this is.
I think
you know what I'm kind of like.
I think you're absolutely right. And
yeah, I feel like we need a little bit of both. Yeah,
I think it's essential. It's essential to have darkness, to have light.
Yeah,
it's essential. Yin and yang. They're not just something that is brought up only once in your life in the TV show Avatar and Nickelodeon when we were kids.
Yeah.
Having a balance is important. It's important to have a work to life balance, or your work is going to become your life. It's important to have balance of morals versus how much do you take for yourself.
Right.
Because like we talked about this earlier. Does my wife kind of check in? And I want to touch the discipline part is going to tie into this. If you spend so much of your time trying to save the world, you will forget 100% to save yourself. So those healthy boundaries are important. There's one thing she did is we went out to this place, I forgot what his name, Blue something right down the street from my house in Linwood.
Yeah.
And she told me, she said, "Honey, are you okay? You're going through a lot right now. I just cleaned up my friend's apartment after he committed suicide and been there for his sister and stuff like that. And I didn't even know his sister. And
but
she
that's
looked just
rough,
like him. It was a monumental down moment, right? So the negative, right, or the undisciplined emotion, right?
That had to be tough. Just that she looked just like him too. Like you can see your friend in her and everything.
Yeah. It was wild.
And then kind of know her pain. She's going through a little bit, and
I was like right there with her. Like as soon as she landed, and she went to his best friend's house, and his best friend works for the state with a drug and liquor license or alcohol and tobacco and whatever. So he was really, really. I've never seen somebody that controlled in a moment like that. He found him, but his hands were shaking the whole time, and I just grabbed his hands and I was like, "Hey, man, why don't you just go breathe for a second?" And I asked my buddy who came with me from the Army. Shout out to the Army for this one. My boy Tilo was there with me. I called him like, "Bro, I need help. I can't do this alone. Yep. Everybody's going through a tough time. I just need another outsider." And we went to. He was Andrew's. I'm just gonna say his name, Andrew. I love you, brother. I miss you so much, man. Every day I think about him. I wish that I was able to put into words what it's like to have that tribe show up for you. So Tilo showed up out of nowhere and helped me clean up my boy's apartment. And we did it, right? We got through the process. We went, but right after, I called my wife and I was like, "Honey, it's done. Let's go out and have a drink and just decompress."
Yeah.
So setting healthy boundaries is, I think, an essential part of helping, because we went right up to Linwood. We stopped and I definitely shed a couple tears. I forced myself to face what I was going through, and facing your tough times in your life is the most important thing. Whether it's not cheating on your diet, whether it's not giving in to dealing with alcoholism. If you're drinking and you want to be
some negative thing that you're trying to beat.
Negative, we have to.
Just a habit. You're gambling all the time. You're doing this, like, and you get that itch to do it, and you don't do it. Every time you do that, you build up that good part of you, and you feel good about it. It's so weird. Like, it's just those little battles where, like, every time that thing that you're trying to quit doing tries to suck you back in. Every time you turn it down and you close the door on it, it's like a win.
You become more
powerful. It has less power over you. It's like a little devil, like, knocking on the door, and you keep letting it in, And
that's exactly how I think about depression.
Yeah.
Suicidal ideations. It's hard to...
Oh, and it can be seductive.
Yes, it can be...
It's like you want to go, if it's comfortable in a way. It's almost like kind of fun. It's like weird. It's like sucks you in a little bit. Like, I get that with just negative stuff, negative thinking. Because it's like comfortable or kind of, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I've been there. But I really can't, be able to articulate in good words how overwhelming it was for her to do something, because like obviously my podcast, we have some dark episodes. We
Yeah,
have some
man.
dark parts.
Yeah, you were saying that just the other day.
She went to Hobby Lobby, got me 2 jars, got a bunch of marbles from Amazon. They showed up, and she wrote us, or she wrote me and them on the other one, and she gave them to me, all wrapped up, all pretty, saying these are for you. Sometimes it gets over the top, and you provide somebody some solace, and it hurts you to bring up.
Yeah.
You know, maybe transfer a marble. You know, take a second to put a marble in there, and take that as a symbol of you giving your light to somebody else in their moment of darkness. And I cannot tell you just how that simple exercise has helped me. So I'll put if it gets to be a dark episode, I'll put a marble when I tell somebody something that's hard for me to bring up or that somebody else experienced. I'll transfer that energy, not just to them in real life, but also to myself. I heal myself as I'm going through it. And her just doing that temperature check with me, it's just a testament to how she knows me more than me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that I was having resting bitch face.
Right.
That I was,
But you're taking on so much. It's like, so how do you think, were you always kind of like this, or do you think it was just going through some of the stuff that you went through and you got so close to people that, like, how did you get to a point where you take all this on yourself? Like, you probably do it in a sense because you also get back out of it. Because I've noticed that with the show, even talking to these people, like I said, there's something about it where it's like I'm getting, like, so much more out of it. Like, it sounds weird, but I'm getting more out of it, like, almost spiritually or something than I thought I ever would. Like, just sharing it, like, moments with people, because we kind of don't do it so much anymore. And, you know, and then you're having all these, you know, especially now when we have this time where, like, everything is so, like, politically divided and this and that, and, like, getting to share all these different kind of people's opinions and kind of, like, letting it, you know, kind of, I get to take it all in, and it gives you this, like, kind of grace for a lot of different kind of people, you know, because it's like you get perspectives from so many different people. It's, you know, and so I get it. Like, I feel like you know, if you do take some of that stuff on, there's definitely you're definitely getting something out of it that's positive, even though it's probably painful to go through it.
Yes.
Because the when you do help someone, that part has got to be, so the maybe the painful stuff's worth it because what comes out of it is so profound, you know?
I think, honestly, to answer your question, it started at a young age, man. Seeing my stepdad leave for the first time out the door after 9/11, it made me a complete. God, my eyes are filled with tears. Jesus Christ.
It's okay, dude. And I'm feeling it too, man.
As soon as I seen him, like, really, like, I got a phone call that he wasn't coming back home.
Yeah.
That night he flew to Germany. They flew back. He had, like, I can't remember. It was so crazy, man. I didn't want to go to school. I didn't know when he was going to come back. I literally watched on TV in 2nd grade class. Our teacher, you know, because human beings are addicted to seeing traumatic things happen, apparently.
Yeah.
Put up the 9/11 happening. And I remember we went out and I picked up a little flower and I put it near the American flag. We all gathered around the American flag because that's, I guess, what you do in a bad time. You cling together to the people around you, which is something I definitely agree with.
Yes.
But I was shook to my core. I decided that I was never, ever going to grow up and be a monotonous person who doesn't want to help other people, whether I'm in the military or not.
Yeah.
If I was in the military, I'd do my best.
So it became like a calling to you, like
it was something that just some switch flipped, brother. Some switch flipped.
Responsibility. It was like a responsibility that you took on.
I have to be this person because if I don't, I feel horrible about me. If I don't genuinely make it doesn't have to be anything crazy like, hey man, I know you look sad. What's going on with you? Because I've seen people who try to do that, and it can be too much, you know.
Sometimes
definitely. all you need is I text a friend who I know is going through a tough time. Hey man, just thinking about you. You wanna bullshit over Call of Duty later?
Right.
Or it can be me talking to somebody who I see on the streets, living on the streets.
Yep.
A homeless vet, and I'm not talking. Everybody been to Seattle. We've seen the people smoking fentanyl and destroying the world down there. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about a homeless vet on the street. And he can compliment me on my American flag on my shoulder, and I'll be like, "Hey man, you vet." Next thing I know, I find out he's staying in a shelter.
Yeah.
Are people who have done things that are unspeakable.
Right.
are sleeping in shelters. So one
Well,
phone call later,
people who have done things like for our country that they sacrifice for it, and we're not even fucking helping them out. You know,
it
like,
crushes me.
yeah, we could be a lot better about that. I feel like, and we should be a lot better about that.
I love that a lot of politicians like to do their job of standing on different avenues and sticking to what their party does. But if they could just get over the whole ideology that you need to be a Republican and obsess over Trump, or you need to be a Democrat and support a geriatric guy who is literally senile. He's angry all the time.
He's old as fuck, dude.
And he's like arguing with them. I was watching the State of the Union. Like, we need to get done with that.
I didn't see any of that.
We need to get done with it and just really look to the people next to us. I'm looking to you.
Yeah.
What do you need in your life? Are you homeless? Okay, that's one check off the box that we don't have to worry about. I see a homeless vet. This is a human being who served his country. He probably feels like his country let him down.
Yeah.
Let's change that. Let's make 4 phone calls, talk to some human beings who are lovers of humanity.
Right. Like, our country should be doing that. Our government should be doing. Like, why did it take, like, it was like Jon Stewart rose all that awareness for, like, those, burn pit victims or whatever. Like, why did it take Jon Stewart doing that? Why wasn't that already done? Like, why you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like,
brother.
why he's not even a politician. And nothing got done until he took his platform and raised that, and he had, like, literally had to raise hell. Like, he was yelling. I mean, he was passionately before they would do anything. And it's like, seems like there's so many things like that. We were kind of talking about that today, like, joking about that. I don't know if you saw, there was, like, this, some Sam Smith Grammy performance thing where it's like,
God,
and there was a lot of funny takes on it. Like, I don't know if you know Tim Dillon, the comedian, but he's just like, it's not, people aren't mad at him that he dressed like Satan. They're mad at him because he's not sexy. It was just fun. He looks like a plumber. He was like, he had a really funny take on it because he's a comedian, obviously.
Oh, man.
But then we were talking about, like, whether it was you don't like it or you did like it or this or that. We're like, it is funny that, like, we're all covering that on the news. We're all arguing about that. But then there's all this other shit that's actually important that we're not fucking doing. Like, that's, like, such a small, like, who gives a shit about that when, like, literally the things you're talking about are so much more important and we're not doing shit about them.
Well, it's crazy. It's really crazy.
So we're always focused on stuff like that instead of, like, hey, there's a ton of people that don't have health care. Hey, there's a ton of people that don't have a place to live. There's a ton of people that could use help, like, getting off drugs.
They literally use their newspaper as a home.
Right.
Like, while it's raining. So I'm walking by a guy who has a sign that's been kicked by I'm just gonna say it, by a tweaker walking by. They just kicked his sign while he was sleeping.
Yeah.
There, and I see those old the same uniform that my stepdad used to wear. That's what I see. I see the same uniform that.
And that's got to get you, huh?
And it really lights a fire in me, and not just to help him, but, like, I get pretty mad at the tweaker too. But and
the tweaker needs help too, but that's another whole different story.
But he's being an aggressor. In
a dick, yeah.
So I can only help with one situation at a time. So you know what? I'm gonna help the guy. Hey man, let's find you some resources, and I can connect him with the list of people I've had on my podcast.
Now, how do so many people that are veterans end up in a spot like that? Like, what is it that, is it just stuff that's not taken care of when it should be taken care of? Like, mental health issues, stuff that they just don't wrap those up after. We kind of throw people out there, they protect and serve our country when they're young, and then we're just kind of done with them when we're done with them. Is it like... I mean, I think I shouldn't say it that way because I'm sure there are.
Please ask. Yeah.
I'm sure there's some, government programs that help and stuff, but it is kind of like that. Like we use you when we need you, and then afterwards we're just kind of done with you. Like,
you just said the exact same words that go through a lot of when I ask people what's going on in their life. That's exactly how they describe it to me, and I can't speak for every situation. I'm not going to act like I'm an expert on the fact that there's a lot of veterans that are homeless. I can only talk about my experiences. And my experiences have been people come back from war. They get told, just like I got told, hey, if you file for a VA disability, you're a pussy because there's people out there actually getting shot.
Right.
How are you supposed to react to a statement like that?
Yeah.
When you're about to go back to the civilian world. You just came back. You think you're young. You think you're invincible. and you're coming back and you're being told that by people who are supposed to process you out. I don't know if they're getting kickbacks or what from the VA, but I can tell you this, and it might not. And I'm not trying to shit on the VA. I'm just saying I don't know what.
But it could use a lot of work.
I don't know what the situation is. I know that there are people who are doing great work, in just specifically in our Washington State region right here. People are doing great work to improve the system, and the VA here in Washington State is actively sending ambassadors out to find out from veteran resources how can we fix this problem.
Yeah,
there's so many different avenues to end up homeless, man. Like I left. I'll give you an example. I left for the Navy with a knife, my orders, and my cell phone, and a list of addresses to send email. I didn't have a long list to send letters to in boot camp, and I hoped that somebody would be writing back. And thankfully, my girlfriend at the time, did. I didn't have anything. That was it. Like I had nothing. I was overwhelmed when I came back, and I didn't have a direction, dude.
Yeah.
Like I came back. I got out of the military. I'm busting tables at 13 Coins in Bellevue. I'm literally working 70-hour weeks because I have horrible sleep insomnia. I might as well stay awake and make money anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and I had all these issues that I was dealing with. I didn't know what to deal with. I could have easily got credit cards, tried to get a new car, all these things. But instead, my wife and her mother went out of their way to be the cushion I needed when I came back from the military.
Yep.
If I didn't have that,
who knows?
I could have. No, I seriously, straight up, could have ended up on the streets, man. And because of the chip on my shoulder, because of the issues I was dealing with, as soon as I got off the ship, I can tell you, I felt every single second of weight that I tried to run from when my dad died when I was deployed.
Yeah.
I ran from it.
So you got away from it. So you got away from it, but it never really went away. And the minute you got off, it all came back.
And especially for
men.
So
you tried to run from it.
Yeah.
But you can't run from things.
You can't run from the things you experience.
They will fucking. They'll be waiting for you.
They'll cold cock you like that New York knockout.
So you gotta go through them. That's what you're saying.
You have to not just go through them, but grow through them as well.
Grow through them. Okay, so you gotta face it down. Yeah.
You will grow through it, and that's what I say to anybody who's thinking about leaving the military.
Yep.
You don't need to have the job settled. I recommend it. You don't need to have your tribe settled. But there are tribes out here. There's veteran organizations. There's Emerging Veterans with Players. I'm wearing their shirt today. I love what they do. There's so many different. I can just go on a list, but there's a time for everything.
Yep.
There's resources out there, and like my boy Josh did say just last week, if you stop looking at the VA like it's going to solve all your problems and start asking yourself, how am I telling you what I need?
Right.
Am I just screaming at you saying you're not fucking helping me because I'm messed up?
So you're taking some responsibility too, which is healthy, I think.
You have to. And I haven't walked into the VA. I got out of the military in 2016.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, I'm walking to the VA. I'm having a friend take me there.
Yeah.
Because it's so unworldly to me, the idea of asking.
You're not a guy that asks for help. Yeah.
To deal with the experience.
You're always helping other people. You don't always know how to ask for help for yourself, huh?
To say something like that.
Yeah.
And
so you got the knee and shoulder are pretty fucked up.
Knee, shoulder, back pain, and I've bodybuilding through all this. You don't have to necessarily lift heavy weight to build your body. You just have
to.
No. You have to just take
especially bodybuilding, dude. It's more about the mind-muscle connection and using the muscle. We were actually Mark, a friend. Yeah, you know Mark. He was training somebody today, and this girl was like, do I need to go heavier? And we're both just like, no, it's not even about that. It's about obviously you want to go heavier but not by sacrificing your form.
Not by sacrificing your form.
Yeah.
Or your joints.
Right.
Form is everything.
And now, how's the joints? That's kind of what you're dealing with, right? So that shoulder, that ligament thing, and
everything's
and that was repairing a freaking elevator, right? Man. That was from repairing an elevator. So it wasn't even like
I didn't even know people fixed elevators when I was in the Navy. Life was good.
Yeah. Shit, dude, that's wild.
It's you never know where it's going to take you in life.
Yeah.
But I'm going to seek help. Because it's messed up of me and absolutely hypocritical for me to tell people, work on your mental health, work on your physical health, work on your emotional health.
If you won't do it.
If I won't take the steps to treat it's not health at this point. It's like declined trouble, like damage, injured.
Yes.
Years of injuries. I can't like I can't tell you how
And,
bad
and
it is to.
you're a young
stand up.
dude yet, so you want to
Yeah,
get
I'm
that.
29.
Yeah, you want to get that. So you don't want to have that like for the rest of your life, dude.
No, you can't go on forever saving the day and taking a temperature check or a moment of am I doing the right thing here? How many times have my wife honestly, I have to give her credit. How many times has she said, "Henny, your knees are not doing too well. You need to go and get treated for this."
Right, and yet you're
I'm
squatting
like,
all the time.
listen, I'm working 70-hour weeks. The money's good. I got to provide. I got to get the money. Like, I don't have time to chill.
Now, isn't that something like as a man, like that idea that you have to provide is so important, right?
It's
so you
something
never
that's been
want to like
ingrained to
slow
us.
down.
Oh,
like,
no.
I even get
it's
weird
bad.
about like birthdays and stuff. Like people are always trying to wish me happy birthday. I'm like, I don't have birthdays. I'm like, birthdays don't matter. Cause it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I feel like I don't get that because like haven't like made it yet. I'm like until I'm like still hungry to like go out and achieve these things that I need to achieve, and it comes from that place of wanting to be a capable person that can help other people, that can provide, that has, like that has done something in the world that's like, have your shit together. And it's like I don't, and maybe that's something that'll never come, which I think that'll never really come. I think you're always going to be trying to be better, like you said, and always be chasing stuff. But it's like, I don't know. So like once in a while I have to chill and then like do the human thing of like, I have all these friends who I love. I need to spend time with them. Like we just had this work party and like it was like nice to like, okay, Nick, calm down. You can actually go out and like hang with your friends and you can get back to work tomorrow. Because I'm very much like, if I'm not doing something that, like you said, is wanting to provide, like going out there and trying to get success and trying to take care of myself so I can take care of my family and other people, I feel like if I'm away from that, I feel very anxious. You know what I'm saying? So like anytime like this, I always feel good because this is something that I'm doing, that I'm working on. That, bodybuilding, something I'm working on. When I'm training clients, I'm getting paid. When I'm at the bar working, I'm getting paid. Like, so for me, leisure things are really hard.
It's scary. It's scary how much a sedentary lifestyle will unravel somebody who is focused on being better. And it's not that we're antsy. I just want to put that out to the world.
Well, you think about it in, like you said, a tribal sense. Like, imagine if we were still...
I'm a hunter-gatherer up in this...
That's what I'm saying. We would be the ones that, like, in the tribe that we're not relaxing.
No.
Like you're over there relaxing around the fire and stuff. Me and you are on edge because we know, like, we've been out hunting. We've been out this. We've been... Like, we have to watch out for the tribe. So I feel like we never actually get too relaxed because it's like...
It can definitely weigh on your mind, man.
Yeah, so I feel like that's just a natural thing that's kind of in us, It
definitely is. I think it's good.
Yeah.
But it is also a double-edged sword because...
Yeah.
How many times do you feel burnt out and you don't say it?
Oh, all the time.
All the time.
I'm not going to say that, dude.
But I'm not going to say I'm burnt out. I just need everybody to fuck off for the day.
Yeah. You always play it close to your... Like, you're never going to, like, let people know you're tired or... No. It's like it might not be healthy, but you're like, I'm not going to let these fuckers see me like, tired.
They're not going to see me fall.
Yeah.
I definitely experience that all the time.
Yeah. But sometimes you have to relax and chill. And, like I said, go... spend those meaningful. It's kind of like you were saying. The most important thing is our friends, our family. Yes. Like even family that you've created outside of your family. If you're breaking generational curses, all that shit. Like, because you were kind of saying that before. My other friend was talking about that. Like, the idea that family doesn't always have to be family. It could be like it's not always blood because her family's really fucked up. You know what I'm saying? So
I'm sorry for her, man. That sucks.
Right. So for her, like her and her mom kind of got away from the rest of the family, and they've tried to create their own thing. So like kind of breaking generational curses. Like you've talked about that shit before,
It's essential.
Yeah. So it's like in that sense, but still like you have to find time for like the friends or the family that you do have. I think it is important,
Yeah.
Just like I can't do it all the time.
I definitely can say with beyond doubt, like there's no beyond reasonable doubt here. Like I'm to all my lawyer friends, there's no doubt there.
Right.
I need to work on my time management skills.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough, dude.
Because I don't give myself enough grace.
Yeah, and we have to work on that, I feel like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Giving yourself grace is important.
I mean, when you say like you did like 9 podcasts in 1 week, like that's wild.
Well, and
and that's probably an all-time high for you. Yeah.
Most of them were about suicidal ideation.
So they're not just 9 podcasts; they're heavy.
I was like, I was like
up, down, all
up,
week.
down. My energy. I drank coffee.
Oh, dude.
Shit got weird, man.
Yeah. God, I love drinking some coffee, but yeah, I know what you mean, man.
But there's times where I would say us as human beings, right?
Yeah.
Especially those who out there who are driven, because I know some ladies out there who are just fiery, going after the goals.
Oh, there's some that are just as driven.
It inspires me.
Yeah.
It inspires me. I love when human beings are passionately pursuing some of their goals, their aspirations, reasons not to quit. I love when people tell me they're listening to motivational videos every day. I love when my wife's little brother sends me at age 11 a motivational video so I can get ready for my day, and I take the time at 4. Sometimes I wake up a little early, 4:30.
Yeah.
I keep scrolling, or even 3 when if I have insomnia, I'm just up.
Yeah.
I'll send him motivational videos. I'll save them to my notes, and I'll just plan the next 4 days of sending him.
Dude, I love that shit. Like my whole Instagram saved file, where you can save stuff. It's all just cheesy motivational shit because I need that. I need that in my life.
Well, if it's got Les Brown in it, it's gonna be good, man. Lex Brown.
I'm gonna follow him right now.
I'm just gonna. Well, I don't know if he's on social media. I don't even know if he's alive anymore.
Oh,
I
okay,
just listen to his shit and I love it. I'll send you a bunch of videos that really made an impact in my life when I was at the lowest of the low. There's a couple standout ones that I hope everybody listens to. How much do you want to breathe? How bad do you want success? And it's by E.T. and that guy is phenomenal. There's a couple ones on, I think, Matsu Motivation on YouTube, and I'll send you the links for this as well because I love them. And they talk about the idea of dreaming. It has people like Will Smith talking about what success means. It's not some ideology. Sometimes success is just getting out of bed, and that's something.
Yeah, that could be for somebody.
For somebody, that's just getting
if you've been in bed for 3 days depressed and you get out of bed that fourth day,
you got this.
That is a success in itself. If you haven't showered for 4 days because you've been depressed and you shower for the first time, that's a win.
That's a win.
Yeah, man.
And I love that.
You got to start where you are. And that's kind of like what you're saying about, with when you are trying to help people, you just give them a little bit of you're not trying to overwhelm them sometimes because sometimes people aren't ready. So you got to kind of meet them where they are, right? And I think that too about whatever you're trying to do, a little thing could be a win. So you should never make fun of somebody trying to change.
Yes, and it's hard to work at a job for 26, 27, whatever years.
Yeah.
And somebody to tell you, hey, you can make more money somewhere else. I didn't ask you if you were happy.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you what you love about your life.
Right.
Or I didn't ask you if your job values you. I would hate if somebody told me what my job is. I don't want to have a job. Mm-hmm. I have one form of income, which is the elevator and escalator union. Shout out to them. They're the shit.
Right.
It's just a bunch of people who want to make money.
It's a form of income.
It's a form of income.
That doesn't define who you are. No.
You can also go on a freaking Acorns and make a bunch of money using the Acorns app.
Yeah.
You can also
shout out to Acorns. Actually, that is a great app. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. I love it. You can use up if you have.
It just rounds up stuff. Right?
If you voted for some people that are, in office right now and the gas prices are high, you can always go to Upside app and save money on gas. There's always some way to combat whatever you want to complain about. Mm-hmm. Don't find reasons to be unhappy.
Right, so you're talking about basically getting out of the victim mentality.
Yes.
So every time you find yourself a victim, you can get yourself out of that by taking some initiative or some and it's never going to be fair, obviously. Life's not fair,
Life isn't fair.
I feel even if something is absolutely wrong, I find it more powerful for me to get out of that role of victim. Even if I have been wronged, I don't want to stay in that role. Because I really feel like I can never go anywhere.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever known somebody who has a DUI?
Yeah, lots of them.
Lots of them, okay?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of someone having an HUI?
No, what's that?
Habitually unwavering intent. All right?
No.
Do you know anybody who has habitually unwavering intent? They make a habit of having unwavering intent. They don't get swayed by how bad their day is. This is something I came up with it just hearing my friend speak the other day. I served with him in the Navy, and he's a great singer. Tim Wright. I love what he does, and he's creating new music, and it's motivational music. Uh-huh. I love that he's doing that. He also is going to be releasing albums and stuff down the road. I love what he did with that. But something that took away, I almost tuned out and lost track of the conversation for a second. And I said, dude, you know anybody's got a DUI? And he's like, yeah. It's like, what about an HUI? It's like, habitually unwavering intent.
Yeah.
So when you have habits, right? How many days does it take to create a habit? Like 30 or something, right?
Say? Yeah, something like that.
30 or
like
something, right?
Yeah.
So you have this habit and you've done it every single day. If I'm waking up every day at 4 a.m., my brain's going to learn to fucking deal with it.
Yeah.
If I wake up every day at 3 a.m., go to the gym up until 4:15, travel back home, be back there by 4:20. Shout out to 420.
Shout out to 420.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every time you say 420, it's like...
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't smoke, but I love those who do. I love it.
Right.
Go crazy, man.
Same, dude.
And then I get to back home, eat my meal, my first meal of the day,
Yep.
go to my work, be working there. I'm eating all my meals in the middle of escalators.
Yeah.
I'm about 5% body fat. I'm outside of my first natural bodybuilding competition with my favorite human being to help me guide through this, and that's Brian Click. Shout out to you, my brother.
Yeah.
And I get to the point where I am done with my day, and I come home, and my wife sees that I'm on this vision, this path towards doing something that's bigger, that I feel is bigger than me. It's being just self-betterment. It helps everybody around you. And she has all my meals made for me in a new pair of Vans.
Yeah.
And they're They're the Harry Potter edition Vans.
Oh, dude.
So I was like crying.
Oh, man, you can't get better than that.
She just recognized her habitually unwavering intent.
Yeah.
When I see her doing hair school, and I say, God damn, it's awesome. And she's cutting, and I look at the clippers and look at some generic stuff that the school gave her.
Right.
Or that the school recommended her to buy. I'm not sure. I didn't even ask.
Yeah.
I went to Cosmoprof down the way. Cosmo Professional is what the Cosmoprof is short for it. So I went there and I got her the nicest clippers she could use that they offered at the time that are going to cut the best, that the people at professional barber salons use. So she's now in hair school using what professional top grade barber salons use.
Right.
I recognize her habitually unwavering intent. I'm seeing
yes,
you.
She's on her path. She's
you're on
she's
your
following
path.
her vision.
How great would it be if we all recognized somebody with an HUI and you supported them?
Yeah.
You got a DUI, it's okay, bro. No, fuck that. You shouldn't have done that. How many people die every year of DUIs?
It's bad, dude.
I've lost one of my favorite friends from the military. Got thrown 30 freaking feet out of the front windshield.
It's not funny.
And the piece of shit first class that was driving told him that he was driving instead.
Okay,
yeah,
so wow,
yeah, man.
dude.
And DUIs are not my thing, man. It's not.
No, and the sad thing is, like, you see it so much. And people even kind of joke about it, and I'm always like, it's not really funny.
Let's get better.
Like, yeah.
Let's for real. Let's set them healthy boundaries. Or
right.
I know it's a scary word
especially
for some
now
people.
with
discipline.
Yeah, especially now with Uber. You got Ubers, you got all this stuff, and it's like, and like half the people doing it, it's like, I know you're making good enough money. It's not like you're broke. Like, you just don't want to not have your vehicle, but it's like, you're working a Microsoft job, you're working one of these, you're making, the people I serve in the bar, most of them are making good money. If you're driving drunk, like, you're kind of an asshole.
And the crazy thing is this, right? I'd love to say something in absolution like everybody who gets a DUI or everybody who drives drunk is a douchebag.
Oh, I'd have to hate half my friends.
But at the same time, when I look on the other side, because I don't like dealing in absolution, but I love looking at things through a judgmental lens so my circle improves, so that I improve.
Well, right, and the same friends that I know that have had them, at this day, they would never do it in a million years.
Yeah.
Because when they did it, they were young and stupid, and they didn't have the tools necessary to understand the consequences of that.
There's also another instance along with that as well. And it's the people who are suffering, who pour that suffering into alcohol or drugs.
Yeah, that's
thing. What's scary, right?
Yeah.
Because how many times have you been having a shitty day and you're just like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm just gonna get a case of beer or drink and then just try to decompress. When I started to set healthy boundaries recently, about 6 months ago. Every time I'm upset, I don't drink. And if I ask myself before I drink, am I upset? Is something underneath the radar that's going to show up? Because it's like doing mushrooms, man.
Dude, I just shared that thing. There was a post about that, like that Huberman lab. Like you think you're drinking to relieve stress, but it actually causes more stress. So like drinking doesn't de-stress you. It actually puts you it makes you less able to handle stress, actually.
Yes.
And so, like, I posted it, and, like, some of my friends were, like, thinking I was, you know, maybe they were taking it personal or whatever. I'm like, no, I'm not saying it to, like, say don't drink. I'm saying, like, the idea that you have that it is to de-stress from your hard life, that's a wrong idea. It's not actually de-stressing. It's going to cause you to go into this more a stress cycle where, like, you drink to relieve the stress, but then the alcohol causes more stress, which makes you even more stressed. Then you want to drink again. And so, like, for me, like, that's my rule with drinking. Like, this, if we're in a good place mentally and you want to go and celebrate something, then I think it's, like, a good thing.
Yeah.
But it's when you're using it to, that's where I feel like it becomes a problem. And that could be eating, that could be anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
Human beings, my boy Zach brought it up just last Saturday, and it was a beautiful statement. We are all addicted to something.
Everyone.
We either chase dopamine, and this is my addition to that, or hunt dopamine.
Yes.
I hunt and actively seek dopamine. I get dopamine from you telling me your life experiences, your conversations, you sharing that with me. When I watch your podcast, I get dopamine because I'm listening to somebody share
somebody
what's
that's,
in their
like,
heart.
inspiring or something.
Or even, and the crazy part is that mostly people who aren't famous have the best stories.
Yeah.
People who have never had someone take the time to say, "Hey, man, tell me what you've experienced in life." You'll never know that this person served with some of the most famous quote unquote people in the world. You'll never know that.
Well,
this
think
person,
about how many amazing human beings exist that have never been seen in a podcast or are famous, or, you know, like, that's definitely something that's lost. We're so wrapped up in, like, you know, the Hollywood, you know, I mean, even though what we're doing here, nothing against it, but, like, there's a million normal people in the real world who are just amazing humans that you never really get to hear their story.
Well, that's the cool thing about podcasting, man.
Yeah.
And you're experiencing it regularly.
I am, big time. Like, it's actually crazy when you get to hear, like, even, like, the kid with the weight loss and the girl, she had anorexia, now she's a fucking pro bikini competitor at, like, the age 18. It's like, how inspiring. And, like, that you're, like, I don't know how you were when you were 18, but I could not have eloquently talked about the stuff she talked about, like, and to have that level of maturity at that age, to, like, have recognized her eating disorder, battled it with her parents, got through it, got to a healthy place in life, and then able to vulnerably share that story on a podcast. Like, so shout out to Tiana, because that was dope. Like, I'm just not there. You know, I wasn't there when I was 18. I was closed off. I would have been like, fuck that, I'm not going to fucking talk to you. Yeah, fuck that. Oh, it's fucking stupid. Yeah. I'd be like,
you want me to talk about my feelings?
Yeah, your feelings are lame, bro. Yeah.
One thing I would say is that that's always kind of stood out to me is who can share things. You have to be at a certain point when you're ready. I'm not going to go and ask somebody, and this is something I try to be very, very careful about when I look for a guest to have on the show, because I usually don't have to reach out to very many people anymore.
It kind of starts.
They reach out to me after a while, and
isn't that weird? You know, you start out, you have to, like, ask people, and then before long, it just becomes a thing. And
because they're inspired by other people that they hear.
Yeah.
So, for instance, and God bless her for being comfortable talking about this subject, Kristen Lehman coming on and talking about domestic violence.
Yeah, that's
in
the
military, while in the military, and being willing to share, like, what signs to look out for.
Well, because that's something that maybe gets swept under the rug sometimes too.
Oh, and it happened to her by the military. Shame on them.
Right.
That was just a couple poor leaders. It wasn't the entire Navy.
It's bad actors in. It's a good organization with bad actors in it.
Yes.
Just like when police do bad things, it's not
the cop dropped the ball too, and you know what? The judge, same thing. Mm-hmm. And I was hearing that people are going through struggles alone is not something I ever want anyone to feel.
Yeah.
You know, how bad would it be if we were meant to be isolated? We have these phones, right? And we talked about dopamine. These connect us.
The dopamine machine.
Dopamine machine. Anytime I need dopamine, I can go on. I could download TikTok, or I don't have it on my phone, but download TikTok or go on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and just scroll. The kids are doing it, and it's literally creating some serious relationship issues.
It's definitely, we're talking about it's a dopamine machine. Mm-hmm. That's why, actually, like you said, getting dopamine is a natural part of being a human, but trying to make it a little more natural seems to limiting it, it's kind of like anything. It's like we're talking about discipline. Limiting dopamine has such positive effects.
Yes.
So trying to limit, we were talking about porn. Everybody's watching too much porn. It's like limit it, cut it out. Like try not to do it because it's going to make it's going to make real sex better.
Yeah.
If you limit eating bad food all the time, when you go eat something, a great meal, you're going to feel great. But if you're just doing it all the time, it's like just too much dopamine. It's dopamine.
What I always tell my friends when they're having relationship struggles, they, like guys, we have, some people call it locker room talk or whatever. I call it just transparency. A lot of my guy friends share with me when they're having relationship issues. And I tell, hey man, have you tried just pressing the reset button on your relationship once?
Yeah.
You would be so surprised how much better, and this is something it took me years to understand because I listened to somebody who, when he said that porn is a scourge on humanity. Yeah. And I found that life, I'm not going to, violate my marriage or whatever, but I'm going to say that life, sex, your relationships, making love, just a simple hold of the hand is so much better when you're not thinking about, I can't even name a porn star,
No, I think you're right. So like I'm like one of those like freedom for everybody type of people. So I'm not against like porn. I'm not against the porn industry. Like obviously I think there's
me either.
But, right. There's bad things about it, like especially when it can take young people, manipulate them, use them, kind of like you said with the military, throw them away when it's done with it. Or you look at even like the biggest like hottie from our era was Pamela Anderson, and like they got this documentary on her now, and it's like it's not a tragedy. Her life is still great, but it's like it is kind of sad to see like how like that's kind of the only thing she had to like use was her looks, and she did use it, and she made a great career out of it. But then it's like she's had to fight to like get roles that weren't completely revolved around just her as a piece of meat.
Yes.
So like, and now she's getting celebrated. She did a Broadway show and she's doing good. But it's like, so I'm not going to vilify those things, but it is like, I mean, I think there's definitely some value in like limiting it, or like you said, if you have a relationship, like try to remember in the beginning, like, what it was, like what your girlfriend or wife that just like made you fall in love and stuff. And then of course if you're like watching a bunch of other stuff all the time and you're like hitting that dopamine button and then you just go back to your wife, it seems unfulfilling. It's like, but if you took some time away from all that dopamine and just like got yourself back to a baseline level, and then you see your wife so beautiful again, you see her in the same light you saw her at the first time you met her, or like, yes. I think that's, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I completely agree with you, man. Yeah. I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and compare my situation to others, but I'll say for my personal situation, I think that it's important for me as a human being, to strive to be better in my relationship.
Yeah.
It's better for me to just be in my relationship with the person I'm in it with.
Yeah, and so keep investing in it.
And that's just for me.
Right.
I think that sex should be celebrated. I'm not.
Yeah, same. Me too. I'm definitely not a prude or anything.
Sex should be celebrated. Yeah. I love the fact that people are comfortable with their bodies, that they're willing to, have sex for money for other people to be excited about, and and that's great. It's not my personal choice, right?
Right.
But what I would say to people that are saying, okay, well, there's not any excitement in my life, make excitement. Do whatever you feel is necessary to please your partner.
Yeah.
And ask them what they want. There's something.
Communicate.
Communication is one of the most important things, and like I try to do a better job at this every single day of being a better communicative partner. Whether it's, hey honey, what time are you getting off work? Is there anything you need me to stop by the store and get when I'm on the way home?
Yeah, just little
small
stuff,
things,
right?
or how does that feel? Or anything that has to
small
do with
things,
your
big things, all that stuff, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
But for those out there that do partake in porn and pornography and stuff like that, good for you.
Same,
express yourself, because sex is not meant to be some taboo bad thing. Like,
well, and that's when it becomes dangerous.
Yes.
The more they try to repress it and push it under, that's when you get creepy. Like,
the human body is so, dude. I'll tell you this, man. When I was a kid and I was like, wait a second, you mean to tell me that the sex is sex?
Yeah.
When I first heard about sex, I was
wild.
like, what?
You're like, what?
I could. and the more I do it, the better I get, and the better it is for them. What? Are you kidding me?
It's fucking
You
wild,
mean I can
man.
give somebody an out of world experience while being with them? That is it to me. And I look at sexual expression as something that's very important because
fuck yeah, dude.
Without it, like the woman's body is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
A woman's body, like that is a piece of art.
Yeah.
A piece of freaking art. And I try not to bash people who do too much plastic surgery in my personal opinion, who just look like they completely change themselves. You can add. It's like your body's like a Jeep. You can add the fat tires.
Yeah.
You know, look at you, dude. Every time I go to your Instagram, I'm like, man, he's getting stacked. That's gonna be
Yeah.
Really good. You can add the fat tires.
You can change stuff.
It's like
recreate,
an AR-15,
rebuild.
like an AR-15. You can add the best optics.
Yeah.
You can add the you want the green tip bullets instead of the regular black tip. Go crazy.
Right.
You don't want FMJ. Go crazy. You can add whatever you want to the body.
Yeah.
With time, with effort, discipline, eating, and wow, how beautiful would it be if everybody looked in the mirror and saw exactly what they wanted back.
Right.
No more body dysmorphia. No more, like, the idea of fat shaming is ridiculous. If you cared about yourself, just tell them, people who are judging you, to fuck off.
Right.
When people told me that I was going to a terrible extreme with bodybuilding and fitness, I reminded them it's not for you unless you're trying to fuck me. And
exactly.
And then it's definitely not for you because you're not.
Because I don't want you to fuck me.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like.
Yeah, and it might sound kind of abrasive or asshole-ish, but you know what?
No, it's true though. People make comments.
People make comments that can hurt your dreams.
Yeah.
And I don't like dream killers, bro.
No.
Hell no.
No, I'm not about that either. Yeah. But I like that too. I mean, even that's kind of like with like your wife being in the hairdressing industry, like. That's kind of another form of like you get to help people create who they want to be, what they want to look like.
Their idea of beauty.
Yeah, it's kind of dope. Like, because I'm not against that. Like the idea of like self-creation. I think people do take it too far sometimes with all the plastic surgery and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But it's like, hey, I'm always for like anybody that wants to like try to create. Like you said, it's like the idea is they maybe have an idea of what they want to look like, and if they. Mental health can get in there sometimes, body dysmorphia, all that. But sometimes all it is like people will get a small change, and that's all they needed, and then they just love how they look. You know what I mean? Like maybe they lose just that 10 pounds, or they do that. And people will try to, like you said, dream killers will try to knock that, but it's like, well, wait a minute. Is that bad? It's not like that they're not accepting themselves. It's they maybe can see more potential in themselves. And then when they do the work to reach that potential, they're very proud and happy with themselves. And then they're proud of how they look, and they want to go out and show it off, and they want to, so I think it's both. I think it's bad to fat shame, but I also think it's bad to shame somebody trying to better themselves and trying to make healthy, positive changes. Cause like that can be really empowering as well.
Yes.
And nor do I think we should shame people for, I don't think you should shame anybody for their body. Like maybe encourage them if they're trying to change it or get healthy. But
yes, if you look in the mirror right now and you see everything you want, I'm so overwhelmed and overjoyed for you.
If you're already happy with how you look, I am never gonna knock you.
And if you want to change it, you should receive nothing but support. And it should be. And this is something I do want to touch on because it's a very dangerous thing that we have here in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
And all over the world, quite frankly, we have people who who make money exploiting the dreams, the physical dreams and aspects and goals of other people when it comes to the bodybuilding industry, the fitness industry. I cannot tell you how many stories
like Liver King
I've heard of, and like and like there's too many names to name, and it breaks my heart.
Well, it's a huge industry, and a lot of it's bullshit.
Yes. Who is that girl that looked like a damn Cheeto? Where she? Oh man, so my boy Cassidy Campbell.
She looked like a Cheeto.
Yes, man, she looked like a Cheeto. I gotta look it up, man. Cassidy Campbell. He's a comedian, and he does call out videos.
Yeah.
And he went out to her at the it was either Arnold Classic or the Mr. Olympia competition. And he said, "Hey, you owe my daughter $200."
Took her money.
He took her money, cookie cutter diet plan, and left. And that happened to me when I first got into.
Dude, you see so much of that.
Industry,
so much that I hate it. Even like I'll try to I've had friends ask for advice about like what coaches, and I'll try to give them like good coaches.
Yeah,
and they'll go with some stupid online thing, and I'm like, why did you spend your fucking money on that?
I mean, we have a couple right here.
It's some cookie cutter thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's some cookie cutter thing. Like you're so far removed from that person. I'm offering you a great coach like right here in the area that I know is going to treat you right. and you're gonna go for this weird online thing, like
No, man.
you got to be careful with that stuff.
That ain't it, and it's
not to say there's some online coaches that are great. We know there's definitely some of those. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like I think it's great that Katie Hearn made a calorie tracker that helps you understand the way your body is set up and is able to do that. Like that's one of the greatest online contributions that I've seen in our society.
Yeah.
You're able to just look up. Okay, I'm this tall. I weigh this much. How many calories should I be taking in a day?
Because people don't know.
This many protein, this many carb, blah, blah, and then the diet plan shows up. That's when you are able to change the body. I think one of my favorite things about being involved in fitness is, and also other aspects, is being able to recognize very quickly when people are being authentic and raw and authentic, and when they're not. But sometimes the wool got pulled over my eyes, and it broke. I cannot tell you how
it's tough, dude.
It's
like
devastating.
It's like look at Liver King with the being on PEDs, and it's like, why did you have to lie about that? It's so easy. Like you could have kept doing exactly what you're doing because there was nothing wrong with what he was saying. He's saying eat healthy, eat desiccated meats. There's probably is a lot of health benefits to it. There's probably a lot of health benefits to a lot of stuff he's saying, but just don't lie to people. Like clearly you're in your 40s. You're clearly on growth hormone and steroids, bro.
Yes.
Like you can tell. I look at your body. You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't achieve that at that age. So it's like why even make it an issue?
Let's just be raw and authentic.
So I never have an issue with people if they're on gear, off gear, as long as you're not lying to people and like pretending they're gonna get the same result. If it's some like clearly if somebody's in the Mr. Olympia, like they're not gonna be natural.
Yeah, you're gonna hurt more. You're gonna hurt.
But
so
like
many people
Chris Bumstead's not out there telling people like I'm natural, guys. You can look just like me. No, they know what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. Like that's all we need. Like you said, transparency. Like,
yes, sir.
I just feel like, that's the key to it, man. You can tell that shit with like podcasts and people doing stuff online.
Cookie cutter interviews. They make me nervous.
Or they're like scared of like, well, what if I say? Well, because like what if I say the wrong thing or what if this?
I say all the wrong things.
Yeah.
You have to. You have to be real.
You got to be real, dude.
You have to be, and I think
except for when I get sponsors, then I believe only what they believe.
Okay. Yes.
So from now on, dude, I'm selling out.
Listen, man. You know what you were talking about? Can we talk about it right now?
Not yet.
Okay,
not yet.
all
Not
right.
yet. I can share it on social media, but I can't bring it up in the podcast.
Okay.
Yet.
Well, I'm gonna avoid it. I just want to say,
I gotta wait. They want me to wait till I have the product.
Okay.
And once I get the product in hand, like then me and you could literally be like, "Hey."
I know. I know you use this stuff already, but we'll get there. Just check the Instagram. I recommend it 100%.
Yeah.
Because I hate getting cut, dude.
Dude, I was already
fucking
using that
freaked
product
out.
before anyway. That's what's so dope about it.
I know.
I'm like,
yeah.
Dude, I should. I'll tell you, like, what you got to do too for yours is just start sending out emails. That's what I did. Mm-hmm. Just start reaching out to places like, hey, looking for advertisers. You know what I'm saying? You never know. They might give you a.
I think that's a beautiful idea. I'm gonna take a leaf out of your book on it.
When you look at your stats, do you get like what percentage is like 50% male? What do you like ever look at your stats?
Oh yeah, I think last time I checked yesterday, I had like 62.3% male.
Yeah,
and the rest was women.
So
I had a couple non-binary, and I had a couple non-binary. I'm gonna put it out there. Listen.
Dude.
We're here for diversity, all right?
I'm here for diversity too. I've had people come on here and they'll say things sometimes, and I think there's a lot of weird stuff with some of that stuff too. But I do know like a couple of trans friends, and they're like they're awesome. And like we don't know what the fuck they have to go through every day. So like I feel like with that thing, I understand what everybody's all worked up about it, but I also think like. We should chill on those people a little bit.
I think that as a society, we can do a lot better to love other human beings.
Even if you don't agree with what they're doing.
Especially if you don't have sex with them, don't be worried about how they have sex.
True.
Really simple to
true. Fuck yeah, dude. No, because that guy kind of hurts me because I'm like, man, these are like great people. And I feel like we're just going a little hard in the paint on them lately. And which I understand some of it. Why?
Well,
because there's some fucked up shit.
Because of extremism, right?
Yeah,
If I sit here and say... Try to give us an example without getting kicked off of YouTube right now.
Right. I mean,
if there's so many examples out there. Any example of extremism, you don't want to identify. Like, if you sit here and tell me right now, if I were to tell you, hey, I'm a Democrat. No, the fuck I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm me. I'm a human being.
You're you.
I have values, and I have lines. I have healthy boundaries.
Democrats and
whatever.
ideology. That's not you.
You know,
Yeah.
I have like boundaries, right? I have
Yeah.
morals. I have moral lines I refuse to cross.
Yes.
At
And
no,
every human
at
does.
no point will you ever try to convince me that we should be calling a pedophile a minor attracted person.
No,
and
I'm
that's
with
not.
you on
I'm not
that.
saying that.
Yeah,
I'm not,
I'm with you on that.
and I'm not saying that the LGBTQ community.
No,
is saying
not
that.
linking them up with them.
Not
Yeah,
linking
yeah.
that up. It's completely separate. And the people who try to link
Because
it,
I know they hate that when people try to link that with them. It's like,
you know, your sexuality should be celebrated. Yes,
right,
100%.
let's just be honest. There's a lot of straight fucking pedophiles too.
There's so many straight pedophiles.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They're pieces of shit. So
And yeah, like
yeah. So like, let's not link that with
Yes.
with the gay crowd.
definitely
Yeah,
not.
Yeah.
And I love all of my friends, regardless of their sexuality. And I got to explain to me my mom when I was a child that some people have alternative lifestyles.
Yeah.
And that was the best way for me to accept, you know, growing up around friends who were gay, who were lesbian, who were bi, who didn't even know what they were. I have some friends that didn't even reach physical maturity for many years after the average. So they were all being made fun for being a virgin.
Yeah.
And, you know, everybody grows and changes sexually and physically and genetically
Through
and
their
different-
lifetime.
different- through their
Yeah.
lifetimes. I wouldn't make fun of somebody for eating green eggs and ham.
Yeah. No. Yeah. It's
That's
like
how
whatever.
stupid it is for me to say, "Oh man, yeah, you're
Yeah.
gay and you're stupid for being gay."
Right.
Fuck that. Do you know how many gay people defend the country on a daily
Oh,
basis?
tons, dude.
It would be a
Yeah,
travesty.
there's a lot. I follow a lot of like people that were in the military that are like Instagram gay people that were like they served the country.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Girls, guys, all of it. It's
Yeah.
like, but also like my friend who's trans is like a G. You know, he's dope. Like, what do you like? He's cool. So it's like, and he's got his own political beliefs about stuff too. And actually, you'd be surprised at some of his political beliefs. You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's pretty down to earth and like, you know. I mean, he actually probably leans more towards your side with like Second Amendment and all that kind of stuff. But the dude is cool, and like I feel like we need to just like chill on that community a little bit.
I think I really want to tell you, man.
There's a lot of
wholeheartedly
suicides.
agree with you, man.
There's a lot of suicides in that. And
Yes, and I grew up with somebody who got kicked out of the house for being gay and then committed suicide later that year around Christmas time, and
That's
something
rough,
it's something
dude.
that sticks with me since my childhood.
Yeah.
How much better would life be if we gave somebody a little bit more grace for who the fuck they are? Like, you're literally not them.
Right.
Please give them some grace. And I
Just
wish
grace, yeah.
I wish I wasn't 18 walking around saying, "Oh, that's hella gay," because it was a societal norm.
And at the same time, though, that's harmless. Like we didn't know. Like
I didn't know it was gonna hurt somebody, and if I did, I probably wouldn't have done it, right?
no, clearly, no. I don't think so.
So if anybody brings up my old Facebook post one day and is like, "You were horrible," I'm like,
Well, that's the problem
I'm
with
better
that.
now.
Dude, that's the problem with looking at people's old shit and bringing it up and canceling them, because like clearly people have grown with the times, and that's how it should work. Could you imagine if, like, dude, the stuff that we said when we were like before, luckily there was no social media, but
Oh god,
dude, we'd be canceled, and like that doesn't reflect on how you think about the world at all today when you've grown without. That's why I hate the idea of like looking up old people's old tweets and like fucking attacking them for that.
Like,
we gotta stop that shit.
we have to.
so
Cancel
fucked
culture
up.
is bad, man. You know, I was just listening to the Killers today, the song "When You Were Young," and I was remembering.
Yeah.
Not everybody's youth was great.
Yeah.
Everybody had such different experiences, and
Right.
we never know what somebody's going through at a young age and how it's going to affect them in the future. A lot of traumatic experiences come into the adulthood, and they hurt you in the adulthood because you've been stacking similar things and not dealing.
It's
with
like you said,
original
like
stuff.
you just keep putting it off, but it's still there waiting for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
A strong foundation is essential
Right.
for building your brain.
I know, and that always makes me sad because, like, when I think about my childhood, like, it was awesome. Like, I'm so lucky.
Happy for you, man.
Dude, I'm so lucky. Like, I just, like, me and my friends had, like, I mean, it wasn't like we were not rich, but we were not broke. I mean, we were very blue collar. Like, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had everything when you think about it, dude. We had, parents that loved us. We had TV. We had, like, like 1990s WWE. We had fucking Nintendo 64. We grew up with, like I said, there's just that 90s era. We had, like, Pam Anderson, Carmen Electra, like, all that shit, dude. Like, it's all from that era. And it's, like, it's wild now looking back at that era, and it's, like...
There was some pretty wild times. If you look up how people dressed in 2004, I promise you it wasn't my idea, man. Like,
Dude, I know. Like, I remember, too, like, I remember being, like, a teenager in, like, the early 2000s and then, like, you know, thinking everything was so brand new at that time. Like, oh, it's the 2000s. Everything's all new and shit.
Yeah, everything's silver and shiny.
Yeah, it's all because that's what it was in that era, dude. Remember that fucking shit? Like, instant. Everything was silver and shiny.
As soon as Disney Channel came out with, who was it?
Hannah Montana?
The Xenon,
Girl of the 21st Century,
yes,
bro.
As soon as that happened, every
girl was wearing like silver pants.
Disney and Claire's, and everybody rolled out the weird neon silvery.
What was that chick's name? Is she still? What's she doing?
I don't know.
Xenon.
I
remember.
I know Hillary Duff. Was a great.
But that's not Xenon. That's somebody else.
That was different. But she was a good member of that culture as well because she always preached learning from your mistakes, and I really needed that when I was a child. Different movies.
I'm pretty sure we watched Xenon.
Dude.
Like, I'm pretty sure we watched it a few times. It was always on TV.
It was always on TV. They were shoving. Disney Channel was like, okay, guess what's on tonight? The same shit as last night. You're gonna love it.
They would play the shit over and over again, dude. Yeah. What other stuff was around back then? Like, I remember like
nostalgia. Here we go.
90s. I remember we had like Boy Meets World. There was like Beavis and Butthead.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Dude, that show was great.
You
want to talk about like fucking lessons in a show, dude?
I know you're gonna bring up.
Well, the one where he's like crying about when his dad wasn't there, dude. Like,
I'm gonna cry.
That has to get you bad. Where he's like, "Why didn't he fucking want me, man?" You know, like
every single day.
That was an acting job by Will Smith. That was good.
Well, you know what was crazy? I found out in hindsight, he went off script. He was so deep into acting. That's his real fucking life story.
Yeah, that's a powerful fucking scene.
And that hug was authentic. They closed it out after. I don't know. I don't know if I could have kept the cameras rolling as soon as he said that. He was off script.
Well, and just the way like Uncle Phil was like,
bam,
totally embraced him. Like, look, but I'm not gonna leave you. You know, like that's powerful, dude. My
stepdad had he's my dad, man. He's been there since I was
just having somebody be there for you.
He was there. I remember when I remember the first time I learned how to pee was from him. That's how like what potty.
He taught you how to potty. He potty trained you.
He potty trained me, man. And that, me asking him when I found out that he looked out for me instead of my normal dad. I said, well, how come he doesn't love me? And the look on his eyes when he says, "You've always been my son," and he told me these words today, and I'm gonna try to get through this. Yep. Because it was overwhelming. Listening to Shia LaBeouf talk about the mistakes he's made. There's been times in my life where I've directed my rage, my frustration, my unhappiness with my dad not being there for me at my dad.
Yeah.
And I took that same rage that my mom, why did you and him divorce? I needed stability. My sister's fucked up. She doesn't know. You guys never gave her a good example. I said so many hurtful things, and she said some hurtful things to me, and I never ever gave her the grace of not having a good example of parents, and him the grace of the same thing. I called after listening to Shia talk about making amends with his dad, I paused the podcast. I freaking called my mom and my stepdad just today, and I was sitting at the top of the escalator. I had people freaking out. Security's trying to tackle some guy throwing I don't know what he's throwing some like clothes or something at some random kids nearby.
Shit.
And I'm just on the phone telling my mom I forgive her, I love her, I wish that I learned how to process emotion better as a child, and I'm gonna do better for my kids when it's my time.
Yeah, that
was a full circle moment, and telling my stepdad really messed me up. I told him I missed him. I still miss him like right now, like.
Dude, that's amazing amazing that he stepped up and became that for you.
Yeah, like I think about the
people need that so much, dude. Like we need people to love us. You know, it's like.
And how come we don't say I love you more, man?
We don't. We were talking about that. I talked to my wrestling promoter a lot, Troy Peterson, who is a, and my dad's a great dad too, but Troy's also another kind of father figure, because he was my wrestling promoter. So, now he's more of a peer because we're, started out as a father figure, kind of, now more of a peer because we kind of went on our own way. But when I worked for him, he was like a father figure, And we were saying that, like, because there was a guy who passed away in the wrestling business, and then a friend of ours here passed away who was very young, who's a bodybuilder, and went to college. I don't really know what happened, but he passed away way too young. Sad, sad thing. And I was talking to him about it, and we're like, yeah, it's like weird that like, imagine if you knew that you were dying of some disease or something, and you want to reach out and tell everybody you love them, but it's like, imagine if you just do that anyway, without the disease thing. So like, even if like with telling your mom that, it's like, it doesn't matter when you decide to do that. It's just like, when it comes to you and hits you to do that, I feel like it's really important because we don't know how much time we have left to say those things, and they should get said because they're always there. They're an unspoken thing, and most of the time your friends know it. They know it, but saying it out loud, I think sometimes, I don't know, man,
solidifies
super meaningful, and like, and you'll be surprised at what you mean to somebody too, like friends, and like, like, I think you'll be really surprised sometimes where what you mean to your friends and what they mean to you. Like, especially when you've been through so many things together. Like, I don't know, life's pretty heavy, man.
Life can be definitely heavy, man.
Yeah.
It was a heavy, and I felt like everything came off my shoulders, man. I'm talking about 29 years of built up, mad at the world, rolled off of my shoulders when I told my mom I loved her. I just called her out of the blue. I was like, hey, you're about to be at work in exactly 30 minutes, so I'm going to catch you right now. I didn't call to check on you. I didn't call to say hi and have our normal small talk because we don't have a great relationship. I called to let you know that I wished I could be better for you, and I wished that your mom was better for you so you could be better for me, so I could learn how to process emotion. I wish I was able to laugh more. I wish I was able to... I cry quite a bit as I process things.
Yeah.
But I wish I was able to just genuinely laugh more, and I wish I could say the same conversation to my dad that did pass when I deployed.
Yeah.
Because we have unresolved things.
Yep.
And I don't think there's any way that I'm ever going to do that. Same with my brother, when he died last year. I'm never going to be able to resolve that relationship or the relationship with my dad. But I always get this feeling when I drive home every day. When I was walking home from school, I used to call my dad every day and say, hey, Dad, I know you're about to head to hair school for the night before you, and then go to work afterwards. But I just want to let you know I had a great day at school, blah, blah, talk about my day. Every single day I grab my phone as soon as I start driving and go to make that call and then throw my phone or put it in my pocket like I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that I was reaching out to someone who wasn't there. And so I'm going to make a habit of reaching out to people who I do love. I'm going to reach out to my friends. I'm going to call Sean Stokes. I'm going to call Tilo Monahan, who showed up for me. I'm going to call my sister. I called my sister today, and I just told her how much I wished I was better for her. And those moments, like those full circle moments, it really, I just value life so much more after today. Yeah. After hearing that and I told them I loved them. That is where the true beauty of life.
It is powerful, dude, because we take people so for granted sometimes, and it's like, shit, and especially like I said, I'm one of those people that gets so caught up in like the chase, the going after things that sometimes like my family and friends who I love, who are super supportive, and like I have a good relationship with them, but I get so caught up in like this, like I'm doing the podcast, I'm pro wrestling, I'm in a band, all these things I'm doing, I'm so caught up in the chasing, but when you feel like you're doing it because it's going to be for all these people, I'm doing this because I want to achieve things and I want to share it with these people that I love, and someday I'm going to be successful and then I'm going to show them, but then you kind of like, oh shit, like I could be doing things right now. I don't have to wait until I get this certain amount of money or this certain level of whatever. Like, they need me right now to be there. Just call, you know what I mean? But like you getting so caught up in the fucking, and I think it's a natural human thing to do, but you're so right, dude. Like, they're right there. They're,
and I make it a point to do that.
And then the other thing is like, time is so weird because, bam, all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, 20 years has passed, and then it's like, and it's like, if you don't slow down everyone, kind of like we're saying, we need to give ourselves a little more grace time, a little more chill time, a little more. If we don't slow down and enjoy certain moments, like it's gonna pass us by.
Yes.
And you because you're so caught up in the like I said, the chase or the hunt or whatever, and like that's a natural thing. But if we don't slow down and like you said, so I think that's great if you're reaching out to people you love like that, man. Like
it's just one of those we call them come to Jesus moments or aha moments when we meet with MVP. I talked about before the peer-to-peer support group. just taking a bunch of vets who might have, we're not really broken, but we might be a little bent, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
What would happen if we helped each other straighten ourselves out?
Yeah.
And what would happen if we showed up for somebody who's going through a tough time?
And then, dude, what does that look like? It's like kind of like what you're saying about like you get to decide every day who you want to be.
Yes.
So if you have a group like that, you can help each other. Like we said earlier, the demon's knocking on the door, and it's trying to get you back into that old life or that old bad habit or that old way you used to deal with trauma or stress or whatever, but that's not the way anymore. You're trying to be this new person. You want to go with that, so like if you have a group of people, I feel like you can kind of help each other keep shutting the door on that demon. You know what I'm saying? Like, so keep following this. Here's the lighted path. This is the way we want to go. This is the path of, taking responsibility. This is the path of providing for our family. This is the path of like light, being a good person, sharing with friends, trying to become better. That other path gets seductive. Like it seems fun, but like, you just try to keep everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like
a big issue also is self-sabotage. A lot of
yeah.
When we feel like we're doing so good that we don't deserve this.
Right.
If I could encourage anybody listening to give yourself some grace, please tell yourself, just if you can tell yourself one thing when you wake up, just get up and say, how can I be better today? And you know what? And another question that you could ask, if you can get past that first one, what effect are you having on other people? Is it a positive one or a negative one? There's no reason to stop that. If you're doing good, if one person sees you and gets inspired to have a six-pack, if one person sees you and says, oh, you know what, this guy, Navy, they don't spend a lot of time shooting. He took the time to learn how to shoot off of YouTube videos and dedication. Maybe I can do it too. Or, wow, this person showed up when somebody was about to commit suicide and took their gun. Shout out to my friend. You're a great human being. Thank you for being powerful this week, man. God bless you.
Dude, that would break my fucking heart.
Should be how great would it be if you had a positive effect on somebody else? And like my wife's mother, she has had a very, very difficult, tough life, and every single day she calls me her son. She doesn't call me her son-in-law, her son. Mm-hmm. That person going out of their way to bring another child that wasn't theirs, mine, to me, bring me to her
and love you and give you support. Yeah,
that is how you really have a positive impact on somebody else, because she is so impactful to me every single day. Her working on, her life has never been easy, but she still wakes up every day, nose to the grindstone, trying to better herself in every way, not just fitness, but with being a better mother every day. It's not something you just wake up, have a 9 to 5, have kids, grow on to die. That's not how life is supposed to be.
No.
You're supposed to tell me, hey man,
go after the thing.
Awesome.
Go after the thing. Like, so that's what you're saying. Like your wife with the doing the hair. What do they call that again? Cosmetics.
Cosmetology, hairstyle.
Cosmetology, like
things out. The Cosmos. Yeah.
That's what, and I think that's even what Zach was talking about when he was on here. He's like, it's just, if you got to take a job you hate and do it, and that's how you live your life, that's fine. But he does believe, and I agree with him, human beings have a calling. And if they get on the path towards their calling and they're doing something where they're impacting people in a positive way, like you said, they're doing something meaningful to them, they're just happier. You're going to be a happier person. And you're going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just, so it's like, I feel like the world would be a better place if we could get more people on those paths to like, it's like called self-actualization kind of, or whatever, like if more people could find what that is for them, man, you'd have a lot less of those insecure, unhappy people because they'd be on the right path, like obviously you never can get everybody, that'd be cool if the world was like that, but
yeah, it definitely would be.
Yeah.
But like, I would just say this, do you know how great it feels to be on your path? To be on your journey, to wake up every day and say, I have purpose.
Yeah.
There's a big issue scourging America. It's transcending generations at this point because babies are still having babies. And they're passing on the same issue that young men, young women, young anything, we don't feel like we have purpose.
Yes.
I got told those words the other week and it crushed my soul.
Yep. That's the majority.
By an 11-year-old. He said, I don't know what my purpose is.
Yeah.
That is how I felt when I came back from the military and took off my uniform and was was wiping down tables in the middle of the night, getting fucking food thrown at me.
What's
by
my purpose? Yeah.
Like, I didn't have a purpose. I was like, why am I here? And that's where the dangerous thing shows up. Without a pathway, it's easy to say,
that's where dangerous people come. That's how it happens.
Bad influences.
It's like you don't have a purpose, so you don't have anything to lose, so you're willing to like hurt other people, or you're hurt yourself. That kind of goes to what you were saying at the beginning. Like, so even though these things you're doing where you're helping out people and you go through like, you're doing these podcasts and these people have these heavy stories and it can kind of affect you. But the thing about it is you're on your right path. You're like who you're supposed to be and you have the purpose you're supposed to have. So it's like, it makes all that shit worth it. So now I can see why it's like, okay, so it makes sense that you are who you are.
I get so much back.
Because you're getting back from it, and you also are fulfilling who you think you are supposed to be and who you believe you're supposed to be and who you are supposed to be. And that's like, and you have control over that. So like, that is like, I feel like that's what a lot of people are like kind of lacking in their life.
Yes, purpose.
They just feel like, well, what's the point of me even being here?
Well, some people call it motivation. I think motivation is a flawed thing to look for.
Right.
To look for within yourself. I should try to articulate that better. But when you have motivation and you seek constant motivation and you're taking that, you're processing it and pushing it behind you, you're creating discipline. Every day when my wife's little brother wakes up and he says, okay, I got to send a video to Eddie. Let me look through it. Okay, this one looks good. Okay, I'll send it to him. And he receives mine. He is
You're helping each
learning
other.
what discipline should be.
Right.
Every time I freak out on him when he argues with his mother, he is learning the importance of healthy discipline. Because when he gets older and he argues with his boss, he's going to be broke.
Yeah.
Broke motherfucker. Right? So it's like,
right. And like,
really
so
have that.
you're probably kind of an important role model for him.
Oh,
imagine.
boy. I was hoping we were
we
going to avoid the
we never want to be a role model.
He's my
but we
heartstrings,
are.
man.
Yeah.
He plays my heartstrings like no other on this earth. I was there the night before he was born. I remember looking into his eyes for the first time. I remember seeing what true innocence looks like as a child. Mm-hmm. I remember what a hurt child looks like when I look in his eyes. I know what a person who's sick and tired of bullies at school looks like. I know what real kindness is because of what Jackson's taught me, man.
Dude, those schools can be tough on kids.
Well, they seem to keep letting people bully him and punch him and stuff like that, and then
it's tough out
the
there.
School district's
sometimes.
like, okay, well you beat him up worse than they beat you up, so that's how we're gonna just judge it. No, if a child's defending themselves and they can land a couple solid punches, I don't think they should be penalized for that.
At least he's defending himself. That's a good thing.
Yeah. Some kids tried to jump him just last week, like a week and a half ago at his school. 6 kids versus him. Yeah. And they literally have it on video and they still said that he was the instigator. When you're surrounded by 6 kids and they're going hands on with you, I hope that a child wouldn't let themselves get harmed like that.
Right. That's just not a fair.
6 feet and punch.
Not a fair fight, but
not a fair man.
Right. That stuff can be really bad in schools. Like, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know.
Did you experience any bullying when you were a kid?
Were
you always like tall as hell?
No, I didn't. I think I had like a chip on my shoulder where maybe sometimes I thought, but then like looking back, like people always were pretty kind to me, but it was like I just had some kind of chip on my shoulder or something. And then by the time I was like in a senior in high school, like I don't know, I guess I was kind of already like pursuing like my band and stuff like that. And at that point, I don't know, I never felt like I really fit in with the popular kids, but I never really, I don't know where I fit in, honestly. Like, because like I had a friend that I talked to like a couple years ago, and he was like, "Oh man, you were like a jock. You were like such a popular kid." And I was like thinking like I never thought of myself that way, but I was like, maybe I was. Like I always thought like I don't know. I got along with like the stoner druggy dudes because like they would always have like Metallica shirts on and like fucking into that. Like I wasn't.
Isn't this the Metallica?
That's that Metallica whiskey. You can have some of that too.
Can I chop it?
Drink as much as you want, bro.
Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna drink just a little bit.
That is that Metallica. Yeah, that's blackened, bro. That's Metallica whiskey. It's really good.
Pour this a little smidge, just a little.
Oh
smidge.
Yeah, just get a little taste.
Just a little taste. I learned to sip it and enjoy the.
Oh, sipping is the
craft
best.
that they spent working on this, man.
But yeah. So like but I didn't really fit in. I wasn't like friends with like, I guess it was weird because I was like friends with the kids like a year below me or whatever. And then I was like more like close with my buddies who, like my best friend was Steve Lichtag growing up, and he was like what, a couple years younger than me, but like our parents were best friends. So I never felt like I was like really like school, like I didn't have cliques much in school. Okay. Like all my buddies were like outside of that.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, we're at Stevie's farm this weekend. Like our parents are out drinking together. We're chilling, watching Saturday Night Live, playing Nintendo 64. Like, so I don't know. Like I had really close friends, but like it wasn't like through school. Like I always kind of hated school. I always felt like, I don't know. I had issues.
I grew up with dyslexia, man, and
I didn't like school. Yeah. I always felt like I hated it, and I wanted to leave. I was like, this is stupid. I don't like it.
Well, they just tried to throw pills at me when I was a kid. They were like, yeah, you must have ADD. Let's give you some Adderall.
Yeah, that's what they do.
I was dyslexic. I couldn't like process words. I'd have to read things 4 times.
So do you do Adderall now or no?
No, I
people love that shit.
I try to stay away from it because it's kind of
like speed,
like synthetic meth or something. I don't know. Like if you look at the ingredients in drugs or in
people
vaccines,
take it and they, dude. Yeah. I don't know.
I try to. You know, when it comes to any substance, put it in my body. I want to look at the long-term side effects. And I do that with every decision I make now. Yeah. I try to ask myself, if I sit down and have a conversation with you and we kind of sync up our lives for a second, our minds, our experiences, is that going to help me in 5 years? Probably. Yeah. Because I don't know what it's like to be as tall as you. I don't know what it's like to be a bartender.
Right.
You probably have amazing conversations regularly. So much human interaction. It's like overwhelming to me, the idea of...
Well, you do all these podcasts, so every time we do it, you're like absorbing all these like... Yeah, it's wild, dude.
It's wild, the human connections. And I think that if you say you wouldn't fit in really anywhere in high school or whatever, I think you fit in doing this. Being a member
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So the weird thing was like, but then... As far as like once we were in senior year and stuff and like the partying started happening and I fit in very well. Like I had some really close friends. And then when I went to college, I fit in like, you know, like I don't know, like high school just wasn't my thing. Like I don't know what my issue was, you know. I just like I never really liked school. I just read a lot. I would just like take a book and I'd read and I would just like
books, man.
Yeah.
There's a couple really great books that are out there right now, and I have to really recommend them to you, man.
Let's hear them.
I don't know if you've heard about them. It's about this boy, and this asshole kills his parents, and then he goes to a magical school and learns about, there's 8 books, and he learns about, he has an owl called Hedwig. You know, he gets divided into houses based off of his strengths, and it's called Harry Potter, and it's got to be the top 10 most
Wait,
amazing.
Harry Potter kills his parents, bro?
No, his parents were killed by some asshole.
Oh, that's right. They got killed by Voldemort.
Yeah, he must not be.
Dude, I read like up to book 4.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you done the audiobooks ever?
No.
So
I loved them. I loved those books, but then it was kind of like, by the time I got to book 4, like whatever year those came out, what age would have I been? I was probably kind of in like, oh, I'm not going to finish reading those Harry Potter books, bro. Like, I was getting into that like party scene.
Oh,
and, like,
man.
Trying to be cool. Trying to be cool, and it's like, oh, you know, like, I'm not gonna finish reading Harry Potter. There's like, I got to go out drinking and smoking and doing this and that. You know, like it's just a. Now looking back, I'm like, oh my god, those books were fucking amazing, bro. Like,
I think one of my favorite lessons from the series is, was for me personally, just being able to listen to an audiobook was huge because I could listen to the book and try to read along. It's taught me how to read words.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to reread through those books. But there's so much can be learned from the series of what imagination is. Getting rid of boundaries. He dealt with bullying and he dealt with it with frustration. He had a whole year where he was just pissed off at the world.
He did get bullied. Yeah.
The whole 5th book, he was in a state of rage pretty much, right? Because and I think that watching the movie and how they depicted it was a great holy shit moment for me as an adult. Wow. I felt like that. I felt so angry and I was mad all the time. Like, what do I do with this fire that burns?
And you had nowhere to put it.
I wasn't on my path. Mm-hmm. I was lost. I was at sea with no freaking compass, no heading. The sun wasn't even shining, the stars weren't out. I was lost.
Yeah.
I was lost at sea, man. And thankfully, in life, like I was able to figure some shit out. Another book I love in like right now time, I would say, is Scars and Stripes by Tim Kennedy, because listening on audiobook, it helped me deal with a lot of shit that I didn't know I was dealing with.
Yeah.
It helped me remember that we all make huge mistakes, and sometimes we don't learn from them the first, the fifth, the 10th time.
I should check that out. I like Tim Kennedy.
He is Captain America. He's our real life Captain America.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, you know,
he is
I have
amazing.
an impact.
Yeah.
Some people are just phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like I know he has his faults. We all do, but he is somebody who just gets it. This idea of let's be better. Mm-hmm. Let's not be worse. Let's be better. Let's not say the same no matter what. Right. It's I can kind of get down with that. Oh,
100%.
I would be a horrible liar if I said I didn't go to the Sheepdog Response Pistol Course as soon as it showed up in Seattle.
Yeah.
Everything else was sold out, but I got into that one. My wife got me the gift, and learning from Green Berets, learning from people who are Rangers, learning from SWAT, one of the main guys on the Dallas SWAT team.
Right, because I'm watching the stuff you're doing, dude, and it's like, yeah, you're seriously into this.
Well, I love it when they tell me I'm messing up, because if I don't get told I'm messing up, I can't get better. And the gun community is pretty blunt like that. They're not like the bodybuilding community, like, hey, bro, they'll just take a video of you fucking up. They won't do that. Yeah. The gun community is like, hey, man, put your gun down for a second. Okay, so I want you to try moving your finger just a little bit to the right and try again. Or, see, and they won't say another word to you. They'll just tell you words, and you can take them or not. They don't care. Right. You can improve or not. It's dealing in absolution. And that's where I think being
open to that is a huge thing. As I get older, being open to being evaluated by people and not letting your ego get in the way of you becoming better at things, that gets more and more important as I get older. Like being able to just check the ego and be like, keep an open mind. Like, well, maybe they're right. Maybe I do need to change this. Maybe I could be better at this. It's like when you're younger, it seems like, I don't know, you're a little more closed up because you can't get better unless you're willing to take criticism, right? Like,
you need criticism.
And you have to know which criticism is actually valid and which criticism is people just hating on you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because there's that too, right? Like,
And a lot of times we mix, as a youth, we mix that up. We don't have necessarily a filter. And filters are important for our youth. Spending all your time on YouTube, just watching the shit. You're not. These people are doing literally anything for attention and likes. They want to entertain you. Don't aspire to be like a YouTuber. Aspire to be the best you. And I wish more people that are children, like if you're parents, you listen to this, please, for the love of God, help us mold our children in a positive way as a team. Tell your children that you can be the best you. Yeah. You can be the best. Shout out to my boy Josh's son Mav. You can be the best Mav. You can be the best athlete. You can play football. And you're, I love it when a father is present in their child's life. So that's just one example. But be the best you. Mm-hmm. Don't worry about who Mr. Beast is or Mr. Ballin. Like, I know he's got a great content and he talks about his story. He's a former Navy SEAL and I love what he does. But don't aspire to be him. How about you aspire to be the best you, the first you?
Right, because there's nobody like you.
Never.
That's what they always say too. It's like, if you keep trying to be somebody else, like, you're never going to get to the level you could, because it's actually the things that make you the most special are just like the you being you thing. So you can aspire to be like other people or take like lessons from them or like, but at the end of the day, the thing that's going to make you special is like you being you. Right?
Yes,
I mean, I think so. Yeah.
Have you obviously Keep Up with the Kardashians.
Oh yeah.
What would happen if you just kept up with you as much as you watched that show? Oh shit! Did this person go shopping and waste their money on a credit card, or did they save and hit the gym and they're going to save their money for the new car that they want to buy?
Well,
invest in your mind, invest in yourself, invest in your family, invest in your relationships.
Right, that's kind of like that thing. We had Jesse Liu on here, and he was like,
I love that episode.
Yeah, he's a bodybuilder, and I dug when he was like. He's like, make yourself the main character in your video game. He's like, stop, like, that. You know what I mean? Because it is like, if you're watching the Kardashians and so wrapped up in them, it's like, why don't you be like you said, you be the Kardashian? Like stop spending so much time invested in what they're doing. Invest your time in you and building up the you. Like, yeah, it's like we live vicariously through other people, but if you make you the main character of your story, come on, like. That's what it should be. Like, we get this life, we get to experience this life, and it's like, it's an amazing thing. And it's like, so the idea that you're just going to be passive in it and just let it pass you by, I don't like that idea.
And I agree with you. And the second you let your dreams die, your dreams are dead.
Right.
How great would it be if you followed up on your goals, if you kept your dreams alive, if you pursued them, if you been working at the same job for 20 years and you call it a job and you literally complain about work, make a conscious effort to invest in yourself, learn more skills, sync up with somebody else. Open up an Acorns account and put $100 every paycheck. I don't give a shit if you eat a cup of noodles for the whole year.
Well, and think about that, dude. Like,
grow.
That's what you're doing. So, like you said, you got the one job, and that's paying your bills.
Yep.
That's your source of income. But what you're doing outside of that is you're getting up every day at this god awful early time, and you're investing into your fitness. So, like, that's what I hate when people say they don't have time, because it's like there's always time. You know what I mean?
Time?
Like, yeah.
Time? I'll tell you who doesn't have time. People who are deployed on a very, very small vessel. I was deployed on an aircraft carrier, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah.
People deployed on a small ship. Everybody has to do every job. There's literally not enough there's so much jobs to get done. You don't have enough time to keep up. Yeah. You're always waking up. You practice.
So when you hear someone say that, you're calling bullshit right away.
I call it bullshit right away, and I do say it. I try to say it more because they deserve to know that they're lying to themselves. Yeah. You can.
And that might be all they want.
Yes.
A lot of times that's all they want.
And if that's what they want, that's their decision.
It's just to make them feel better about it, and it's like, okay, that's cool. You don't have time, but it's like, we know you really do. You just don't want it bad enough.
If you spend a week, what would a week of isolation look like for you? Like, personally, give me your example.
Of isolation?
If you just isolate yourself, what would you do? If you were just isolating yourself?
I guess I would just be like, stay in my room and not talk to anybody, or like, that would be horrible though.
What if I took your phone and disconnect you from the internet? What thoughts would go through your head?
Oh God.
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
We don't in modern day society, we don't know. I spent in my time in the military, unless I was talking to my lady outside of my work, my job, I literally spent the rest of the time thinking and dreaming, putting goals in my head when I was in the military. Who do I want to be in my future? Yeah. Did it work? After I hit the ground with my face. Yeah. After leaving the military, yes, it did work, because I'm here today and I can say there's nothing more beautiful than wanting to be better. Right. And every day I wake up, I want to be better. I don't care. I could literally wake up and have the most monotonous, boring day. As soon as I'm off the clock at my job, and they know this, as soon as I'm off the clock, don't even call me unless I'm leaving for $500 or more. Right. I need that $500 to feed my family, and if it's not that, I'm done. I'm done. Because you done. I have dreams.
You value your time outside of work.
Yes.
So that's big for me too. That's why I have to have boundaries with work.
Healthy
boundaries, because it's like, I love this job and I love doing it. I love helping the customers, but this is not my passion. This is not my dream.
It's one form of income.
You will respect my time outside of here, and they do. They're very good about it. But it is like, that's why I'm super like about closing times and last call and stuff. Like, I'm strict, because it's like, hey, this is, if you have a regular job, when it's 4:00, you go home. Well, in a bar, you don't really get that luxury, because you have to kind of wait till people are done. You don't want to push them out. You got to let them have their fun. But so the way you can combat that is you have to be very consistent with closing time, and you have to be very consistent with like doing last call. So it's like, hey, last call, if you want one more drink, we'll get it for you, but this is last. If you start like giving people a little leeway with that, they'll stay longer and longer and longer. Next thing you know, like, you won't have any time to yourself, because now you've kind of given them all the power to like do what
they turn into children.
They're children. That's what happens.
Because children see a lack of discipline and they will immediately latch onto it. I cannot tell you how many times I set traps, literally Lego traps, for my stepdad.
Dude, children need
He opened
discipline.
the door and I'm watching TV and he's walking in. Guess what? If I'm in trouble, you're going to pay to get me in trouble. You're walking in and you're stepping on Legos to tell me to stop reading Harry Potter with a flashlight under my bed.
Bro, that's so dope.
Yeah. You know what? And I apologized one day but it's one of his favorite memories of how ridiculous I wanted to experience life. Yeah. There was times after my grandpa died when I was 11. He was my rock. He was there who guided me, nurtured me when my when my mom was too busy working 3 jobs, when my stepdad was deployed for freaking pennies.
Yeah.
Pennies deployed, Air Force deployed to war, literally, like after 9/11, and working for pennies. We had to figure it the fuck out. He couldn't go to work at Boeing, and after that shit, the recession hit like right there, anyways. Right, so he had to activate, but I activated, and my grandpa was teaching me things. When he passed, I didn't have a pathway, and so I think that it's super important to learn from people that are smarter than you. Right. I always ask questions. I never seek to hurt other people with what I say. Right. If I do, I try to understand why. And if I decide that it's a them thing and they're being insecure, then I let that sit with them. But if
it's a you thing, you'll work on it. If it's a me
thing, I let them know that I want to work on it. Yeah. I show my intent. I'm an open book, man. I have nothing to hide from the world anymore.
But people are like that. They're like children sometimes. You gotta have boundaries are a good thing. Yeah.
But they're gonna press the discipline. They're gonna press that discipline. If you have no discipline,
well, it's human nature.
Oh, hey, coach, can I? Yeah. What if I just eat one piece of cake?
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, and that's not saying any of these people are bad people. Yes. It's human nature.
Human nature, man.
Yeah, it's human nature. It's not like it's a bad, but that's why we need discipline, you know.
Yes, bro.
But yeah, that is interesting, man. Like, I don't know. Yeah, just like, I don't know. People need discipline.
Discipline is the key.
It is the key.
It's self-love. Self-discipline is self-love, man. 100%.
I believe it is. So, like, you do it because you care about yourself. But it's like being hard on yourself. It's like, and that's what you get from like a father figure or like a role model is like, they're not always going to be kind to you. They're actually sometimes going to be tougher than anybody else on you, but it's because they see the potential in you and they want to bring out the greatest potential in you. They want you to like live up to what you're capable of. And some people can take that the wrong way. And so but it comes from a place of love. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
and you'll know as an adult when you're walking in that light too, because he told me today when on the phone, he I don't know, I'm pretty sure he was getting emotional, but he told me, I'm so proud of you. This thing you're doing right now, it's really changing something in you, and I'm really proud of you. And that was like the check in the box that I needed from the motherfucker who was supposed to be there for me. Yeah. So for him to do that, right, he's helping me heal. He didn't know how powerful those words were. The words of I love you, I am proud of you. You know, being told that by somebody you revere. He is my hero.
Oh man, I don't think you even
he's
know
my
what
hero.
That can do. Yeah. And that's why sometimes like you might be that person to somebody. God. And so if you tell them that you're proud of them, I mean, man, because I mean that's the thing we're lacking a lot of times. You know, maybe we've never heard that before from that person that we needed to hear it from. And you know, sometimes people never hear that from the person they need to hear it from, and they have to find a way to fix that. In themselves, and that's tough.
It's scary.
And you know what you have to end up doing is you have to be that person for yourself. Right? You have to end up being the person who gives yourself that love and support and realize that you don't need it from anybody else. You can do it for yourself. And I think that's powerful too, especially if the person they're trying to get that from isn't healed or can't give them what they need or is passed on. Yes. So you have to do it you have to like find it in yourself and be that for yourself, man.
I have to tell my stepdad regularly, you need to take care of yourself more.
Yeah.
You cannot do what you're doing, and he's learning. He just went through like a string of surgeries from his back to his carpal tunnel. But
you're such a healthy person that like it's probably tough for you to see people you love if they're, you know what I mean, like, because you know what it actually takes, and like if you are someone that's taking care of yourself, that's kind of what going back to like what I was saying earlier, where it's like, yeah, it's all fun to say like, oh, we should just enjoy life and just do that, but what about the consequences?
I can eat a whole fucking Costco cake 3 times over, and not have to worry about if I'm gonna look lethargic or I'm gonna probably feel lethargic and maybe get stomach sick, but I'm not gonna have to worry about my personal image of what I want to look like. Mm-hmm. If you're on point, literally even just 65 to 80% of the time, right? You can eat whatever you want, you can drink whatever you want, you can do all these things. But if you're drinking alcohol, are you taking Liver Guardian? Of some form.
Well, and are you doing it in moderation, not every day, right? Like,
are you unhappy in drinking?
Right.
It's time to set healthy boundaries.
The intent is where, like, so that's the thing is you can go out and enjoy great food with your friends. Like you said, if you're doing like, if like 90 or 80% of the time you're eating healthy, like you said, you go to Costco and get that cake or whatever, bro. Enjoy it.
Dude,
get some fucking ice cream, bro.
2 of them.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it. Because my brain's like, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that. But you could.
But I could.
And it's not, and that wouldn't even be unhealthy. The unhealthy thing would be doing that every day.
Yes.
That's where so that's where I'm just like, I feel like we need to do better at messaging that kind of stuff. It's not like we're vilifying things. It's just you can't do it every day and expect to not have the negative health effects.
You know, there's actually my boy down south in Texas, Cody Watkins. He actually put up a post based off scientific research. If you consume alcohol, like two drinks at a bar, you bartender, you know two drinks looks like.
Yeah.
For the people who are watching, 2 drinks diminishes 87% of all fat burning action your body takes. Those are facts. Those are not. I'm not just. Yeah, I know that's a crazy ass
like,
fact.
We can't. Yeah, it's not.
But it will break whatever progress you made. So if you work out, if you eat healthy all day, and you have 4 drinks, just fucking quit because you just half-assed
you just fucked it all up.
And it's not because you suck. I'm not saying that. But you half-assed today.
Well, and that's
scientifically by math.
Right, and so that's my issue with people is like I like kind of like you said, you like people that are no bullshit. They're kind of open. Like, it's not like people get very offended when I say certain things, but it's like
say 'em, bro.
Well, that's the thing. It's like it's not. I'm not trying to vilify. These are actual facts. Like it doesn't matter how they make you feel. It's a fact. So like if you feel bad about it, it's like it's just information. You can do with it what you want.
If you hurt your feelings, there might be some truth to it, or you might just be insecure. Those are usually the two if you're a responsive human being, and that's the scariest thing to be. I'm gonna be honest. I've been a responsive person before.
Yeah.
And my hands are scarred up from being responsive. I am so glad I've moved on from being a responsive person. If somebody tells you something and it hurts you or upsets you, you got to look at it with a couple filters before you get to the root.
Right.
Is this because I'm insecure, or is this because it's true?
Right.
If it's not those two things, then you can be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you're saying negative things about alcohol, you're not calling your friends out who drink or calling them bad people.
No,
you're literally just stating.
Don't push off your guilt on Nicky.
Right. You're just stating facts about a chemical substance and what it does to the body. You can do with those facts what you want, but I can't change those facts to make you feel better about your feelings.
This right here, this is just plain old
water.
Beautiful water, right?
Yeah.
This right here, it alters your state of mind.
Yeah. Alcohol is like the only thing that can go into your cell, like through all the other drugs can't get through all your cell. Like alcohol can go into every cell of your body. It's like,
well, you think about it, like caffeine. Caffeine is an addictive substance.
There's negatives.
Your brain can learn to depend on it, and you can have extreme migraines from caffeine deficiency.
Yeah.
Us as human beings, we are all I think the number was 76% or something like that of all human beings are suffering from extreme dehydration. But at a chronic level. So chronic dehydration.
We don't get enough electrolytes
Your
either.
body, especially electrolytes, your body literally is made up of blood. Your erections are made up of blood.
Yeah.
How your body pushes things through your veins is all blood.
Yeah.
You need more of it.
Right.
Otherwise, it's like pouring water into a bowl and just letting it sit there for a couple weeks.
You ever meet those people that just don't like drinking water? They're like, I don't. I'm always like, what do you mean?
They're always unhappy.
I know. I'm like those people that it's like you've literally drank things other than water your whole life to get your water.
How do you process?
So your body obviously
air?
Your body needs water, right?
It needs it.
So that tells me that your whole life you've been drinking other forms of liquid. So your body's been having to extract water from everything else you're drinking just to get water. You don't ever just give it straight water.
Wringing out a washcloth and calling it a gallon.
That's got to be horrible for you. It's so funny. They'll be like, I just don't like water.
It's like water.
What? The thing that you're 70% made of, you don't like it?
Your body does.
Mm-hmm.
Your body, you know what? And this is what it comes down to. A very beautiful quote that my wife invented. I think I'm pretty sure. So I'm just gonna quote her. Thank you, honey. Choose your hard. Staying faithful in a relationship can be looked at as hard. So can
divorce.
So can divorce, or knowing that you are a douchebag for breaking their heart.
Yeah.
Choose your hard.
Oh yeah.
You can and I can apply this in my favorite way to say it. You can choose to be on an extreme level, this is not my always opinion now, but you can be a fit fuck or a fat fuck.
Yeah.
Choose what you set the bar.
It's gonna be hard.
But you can set the bar.
Yeah.
You can set the bar. You don't have to be a fit fuck.
Dude, being fat's not easy.
Being fat's not easy. Being fit's not easy.
Right.
Choose where you want it. So you set your gauge. Mm-hmm. I know that, like you have a phenomenal physique, man. One thing I admire about it is your dexterity, your muscular dexterity. I really, really also enjoy density. I also enjoy watching you as you grow lines of symmetry as you lean out during your process.
Right.
And that's amazing to watch. That's not for everybody, though.
No.
It's not. It's not for you.
I always tell people that, too.
It's not for everybody.
It's not. Like, I don't ever try to hold other people to my level that I hold myself to, because that would just be stupid.
Yeah, brother.
And same with everybody. Like, that'd be like you thinking, like, everybody has to be just as good at something as you. Like, they don't have to be. Like, I like diversity.
That's insanity. Dude. Diversity is key.
But I will say, like, in general, I do believe if people take better care of themselves, they're going to be happier, healthier people. They're going to treat people better. They're going to feel better about themselves. Just a little bit. Like you said, obviously we like all body types. We like all... But, like, there is the thing of, like, negative health effects. If you don't take care of yourself. So, like, we can talk about body shaming or accepting people's bodies all day. But the hard reality...
Your body is not accepting how the fuck it feels.
Right. The hard reality is if you are not taking care of yourself and you're unhealthy, there's going to be consequences of bad health effects.
You can hold fat and still be healthy.
Yeah, 100%.
You can be...
You can be way too skinny and be deathly unhealthy.
Be deathly unhealthy.
That's scary because I've seen that too. That's worse. You're better off being a little bit overweight than being underweight, because being underweight is scary, dude.
And your doctor telling you that you need to lose some weight isn't necessarily what it might be. Maybe you just need to gain some muscle because you're...
Well, dude, also...
Like musculature.
When we're getting to a point where doctors can't even ask people what their weight is because it might be offensive to people, we're living in a fucking
Don't go to the doctor then.
world.
Stay home, please. No,
like we're living
maybe I'll get treated better. Shit.
Like, I don't want to get too into that stuff, but that is ridiculous.
It's really scary.
A doctor has to be able to look at your weight. It's a hit marker of health. It's not about trying to shame you for your size or anything.
I'm going to say something, and it might be really, really scary,
but
it's going to be the truth. We're going to offend ourselves right into being controlled by a different nation.
Yeah.
And we're going to lose this idea of freedom. If you can look at anywhere else. Let's take us out of America's visual mindset for a second. Let's go to a country where you can be thrown off a building or stoned to death for being gay.
Yeah.
Let's go to a place where if you're a woman, you literally do not have rights to speak. You will be beat or murdered.
Or even some places be seen. Or you have to have your face covered, your hair covered.
You go to Iran.
There's people dying to fight against that right now.
Literally dying in Iran. Like, we can talk about the protests there. Like, brave men and women standing up and saying, I'm not going to let you
brave,
control
dude.
me.
Like, women dying by showing their fucking hair and fighting for that. Fighting for the right to show their hair.
We have a human being in this region right now from Iran, and I was able to develop a good relationship with him, and he was on the other side of the Iranian military from me, right? I was on the U.S. military, but we were not too keen of each other at the time, but I got to learn about his life experience. Their version of the CIA or the secret police or whatever, they murdered his dog in front of him because he was talking to somebody about wanting to come to America. Just talking to somebody about one day he wanted to come to America.
Yeah,
they shot his dog in front of him.
Like, hey, don't be saying that shit again. That's just a message, right?
That's a message. Yeah. They've murdered whole bloodlines. He was telling me they blew up a building with over 300 people in it just to send a message that you don't get to go up against the government.
Criticize your government.
I get to criticize government all day. I think Joe Biden's a hack. I think Donald Trump could have done a lot of shit better too.
Yeah.
I can criticize my government because I have this thing.
Thank God we can.
I have this thing, right? And no one has to agree with me when I say that we have a lot of flawed presidents.
Right.
But I think that at a local level, we can make a difference. Like, right now, I can go and talk to, if I'm in Thurston County, I can talk to Derek Sanders. Up here in Snohomish County, I can talk to Adam Fortney and ask him, hey, Sheriff, I'm really concerned about some things. And he's going to take time out of his day to go out of his way to make sure he has eyes on it, and he can properly advise the Everett City Council or the Snohomish
and so that's something you can
talk
do.
Focus on people in your circle. Have you talked to your neighbors? Do you even know their kids' names? Mm-hmm. I know my neighbors' dogs' names. Okay,
like man, that goes back to community. That's like that's what I do miss about small town, dude. Like we know everybody and everybody takes care of each other. Even when they have disagreements and stuff, like it's still like an overall, like you could have two guys in a small town that just hate each other, but at the end of the day, like if the one dude was like in a spot where he really needed help, you know the other person would get out of his vehicle and help him.
Where
Like
people
they
pull
saw
over
him, they saw him
when your
crashed
tire's
on the
flat.
road and he's under something
Yeah.
and he's trapped. Like, you know, even if they were mortal enemies, the other guy would get out and pull that thing off of him to help him.
Yeah, he's not going to give him the scar treatment. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, no, not at all. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
And that's what. And that's
shout
what,
out to that movie.
Yeah, shout out to.
That's another fucking movie from our childhood.
That's a heavy hitter, man.
That's a heavy movie, dude.
That taught me how to deal with. I've watched that movie in my adult years and started weeping because I realized I just never dealt with the death of my family. In my family. Like when people die, oh, they've moved on. They passed on. There was no more topic. There was no, hey, you look sad. What's wrong? I miss Grandpa. Come here, buddy. Yeah. There was none of that. It was just not knowing how to process emotion because of their parents, and I give them grace for it. I really try to take time to recognize where their parents went wrong, so I can understand. Because if I don't stop it, I'm going to be just as fucked up. Or
So
my kids
you
are
think
fucked
a
up
lot
like me.
about that, don't you? Like,
Yes.
Like to when you get to the point where you have kids, you think a lot about not passing on those negative things, don't you?
Well, I say it often.
It has to end with you.
Yes, it has to end with me.
Yes.
Generational trauma.
You want to start fresh. You want to be the first that makes healthy patterns for your kids, and then hopefully they'll pass that on. So it's kind of like you end those things. You know,
I ended all of them. I don't want to hear. Man, those fucking white people. It's not going to be a topic of. It's not how we talk in my house.
Is that is that a thing too?
Yes, it is.
I mean, I get that. Like,
No. It's bad that.
But
you
it's
get that.
unhealthy.
It's horrible. It's horribly unhealthy. And I'm not saying that
and
you're.
It's not helping, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that you're flawed for what you think, but it's flawed that the people think of that.
Right.
You
Well, I don't think it's right either. I just think
fire.
I can. Yeah, that's what I understand it, but I think what it would do is give somebody now that you go out in the world and maybe you meet somebody who's like white and you guys have this great connection and like they're actually somebody who's like a great loving friend to you, but you have this negative thing, just the same way somebody that hates.
But he's white. Oh,
right. It's the same
get rid
way
of that
as if
shit.
somebody grew up where their parents were hard on black people. They go out in the world and it's like, but Dad, like. You know,
my friend.
So-and-so's my friend. I love him. Like, what are you talking about?
In the military, we learn really, really quick. Some more than others. And I'm so thankful for the branches that have to deal with combat. And
Right.
the burden that they bear is huge. I'm thankful that I didn't experience gunfights in the Navy. But I can tell you this right now. You do not win gunfights alone. You do not win. You do not bring on bombs on aircraft carrier alone. You do not drop a boat in the water to rescue somebody who wanted to commit suicide alone. You do not pick up when an F-18 crashes in the middle of right off the coast of Iran and you got the boats headed that way. You do not rescue this person with the SAR swimmer all by yourself. You don't drive an aircraft carrier by yourself. You have to have a team. It doesn't matter if that person's gay, straight, black, white, purple. I don't care whose
Trans,
mother, sisters,
whatever,
cousin, auntie it is. I just care about if they want me to live.
Right.
Because it's all about going home at the end of the day.
Right. Well, the other thing too, it's weird. It's like all that stuff at the end of the day, like there is that soul or spirit inside each human. That's who you're connecting with. So it's weird. That's why I'm saying like we need to go easier on trans people. But you know who else? I also think we need to go easier on men. Like we do that with men too. Like you should hate yourself just because you're a man.
No,
like,
whoever says that, you're just bitter.
That
you're
so
spiteful,
old.
and
Well, and men shouldn't do that to women either. Like so, if a
100%.
man gets like rejected by a certain number of women, he'll get this bad attitude.
she's a
so
bitch.
Instead of trying to go out and make himself a better man to attract a better woman, he'll just start hating all women and being like, "Fucking women are stupid bitches. Fuck women."
Same
thing with men.
You're just not attractive, man.
Right.
You
Same thing with women though when they do that, like, "Oh man, you're pieces of shit." It's like, no, you had a bad man. You met a bad man who was a bad actor. That individual is who you're mad at. That's why I didn't like when Kanye was doing all the fucking like Jewish stuff. It's like no. The people that did your business plans were individual humans that fucked you over. They did, and I feel for you, but don't put that on every Jewish person.
I
So
agree
don't
with
put
you,
that
man.
on every man because a couple men were terrible. Don't put that on every woman because women rejected you. Go work on yourself. Become better.
And it was so bad when he said that shit, man.
Ugh.
Because
And I like Kanye, so that shit sucks, dude.
it's not just because what he said was racist or whatever. Or how whatever label that has a long, a bunch of letters in it,
Anti-Semitic, racist, all that shit.
Whatever label that sounds complicated that they want to add to it, whatever.
Right.
What he said was fucked because
It was.
when you sit there and say this entire race is like this, I have friends that are Jewish and they love Kanye's music and they hate the fact that he was treated in a certain way. But in America in the music industry with with BET, with Hollywood,
Right.
all this stuff is controlled by certain people who have been running it for a long time.
Yes.
Somebody started that shit with a camera when it was first invented.
Yeah.
Who had a little bit of money from his grocery store or whatever, and they made it Hollywood. Now the culture supporting Hollywood is foul. It's
Dude, and
dangerous,
even old
toxic.
there's a lot of toxic shit from back in the day in Hollywood, dude.
Yes, man, and it's transcended generations.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that we don't make the same mistakes of our forefathers by saying, "Hey, you're Jewish, so you must not like Kanye's music, right?" No, how stupid that's
right,
like,
yeah, it's
literal
stupid.
insanity.
Well, I bet there's a lot of Jewish people that are still like, you know what? I still fuck with Kanye. Fuck it. I like
Yeah.
his music. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
if some people would say all white people are, let's think about the 2020, and let's go off on a authentic, tangent for a second.
Let's do it.
When somebody told my wife that she was racist because she was white and she was stealing black men from the world, that is the most
dumbest thing
idiotic
I've
shit
ever
ever.
heard.
You know what?
When two
You didn't
human
steal me.
beings,
I'm not a because that implies that I'm property, right?
Yeah.
Me and my wife are in a relationship on both ends. If she says, you know what, this ain't it, I'm calling it quits, and I'm gonna respect that, and same back and forth.
Well, right, but to me that's so stupid because it's like, dude, two human beings find each other and they love each other. Mm-hmm. Why do we care about anything else?
You know what? But it's not my first time experiencing this because my grandfather on my mom's side wouldn't hold me as a child because I was black.
That's fucked up.
And I've had other people, in my family have serious issues with my wife being white, and I cut the seeds.
That grandma thing actually kind of like makes me think your grandma's a really dumb lady.
Yeah, she was fucking horrible.
Yeah, like
no,
that
100%.
makes me kind of like sick. Like fuck your grandma.
To my stomach.
Almost.
Hey,
Like,
listen,
yeah, I'm like,
fuck yeah,
no
man.
offense, dude, but like,
bye, bitch. Right?
Even for me, that's like, oh, that's really gross.
Well,
like,
it hurt me. It hurt me when I heard it, and it hurts me right now because I'm thinking about her. How much more powerful of a life would you live if I visited you every now and then? And helped you, brought you groceries. What did grandson shit? But instead, you think that my skin color's rotten because some person before you told some person before you that black people are. I can't say the N-word on here. I'm probably sure it's up. The N-word. And
I don't know what would happen. I've never.
Let's just keep it peachy.
We'll keep it. We say fuck, shit, piss,
Okay,
like
we'll
whatever.
we'll
but
just avoid.
I don't think we say that word on here.
Well, I don't want to be by the people who do believe in cancel culture. I don't want to be looked at as a light skin and not
Oh, so then you can't say that as a light skin.
You know what? Because you got to look out because there are some people that are caught up in so much in putting people in boxes that they won't look at real life. Like how sick would it be if we actually kept this racial segregation thing going? It's a slap in the face to Martin Luther King. It's a slap in the face to people who sat on buses and got the shit beat out of them. It's a slap in the face to my personal forefathers.
Yeah.
People who are literally in my bloodline and my stepdad's bloodline that have fought for black rights in America to sit here and say, hey, but she's white. I don't know. You sure you want to fuck yourself?
Yeah, dude. I don't know. Like to me, it's probably really easy for me to say because I'm just a white dude, right? Like, but I always think we'd all be better off if we just like viewed each other as individual human beings.
Wouldn't it?
So like gay, straight, trans,
we're just humans,
all
man.
like if you just like each other, like you just meet someone and you like them for who they are, their soul, like their spirit. And just kind of stop with all that other bullshit. Obviously, it still matters because it matters because of the bad people.
It makes you. You should be prideful.
You should be proud of who you are.
You should be proud of who you are. But I would say this: it's very important to never let society put you in boxes. Because if I told you, hey, all you're gonna be is a good-looking bodybuilding bartender who does podcasts for the rest of your life. You're never gonna be. Don't aspire to be great. Just accept who you are. You're black, or if someone told me I'm black and oppressed, they're probably gonna get a punch in the face.
Well, it's kind of like my buddy who's like, oh, because I'm not white, I wasn't supposed to like Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and stuff.
What?
He's like, my friends would be like, well, what do you like? You don't like rap or whatever? And he's like, because he was in a band, is Frankie, and he played like, I think their music was like Sublime, and he was pretty good. Like they toured and they made money and everything, and that was before he got into bodybuilding.
Listen, I listen to Taylor Swift, Carly Rae Jepsen. If the music is good, it's good.
Right, same. But it's weird how we like stereotype. It's like, I guarantee there's like black dudes out there that like Slayer and like hardcore heavy metal, and there's nothing wrong with that.
The Game said he would love to bump some Adele. Like if he's just strolling through LA, he'd bump some Adele.
Yeah. We put too many weird like stereotypes on music.
Boxes. Stop putting people in boxes. Stop judging. Stop limiting people on what you only see possible for yourself. I have friends that I've encouraged to pursue their dreams, and I love it when I see that person achieve them.
Yeah.
There's nothing more climactic.
That box is in your head, right?
The box is so in your head.
It's
and
so
fake. If you enforce it for somebody else, that's where I think you kind of delve into the part of being a bad human being. It is, and that's me being judgmental, but it is.
The other thing is you put yourself in a box, and then you see somebody not living in a box. You're like, whoa, where's your box? You need to. Those are people they don't have a vision to see beyond. So they don't even mean it in a bad way, but they're like they want to impose like their limiting beliefs. I think it's projecting is what they call it.
Projecting.
So they're projecting their limited beliefs on you, and it's like, no, I'm not living by those fucking rules. Like, I'm doing shit. I'm doing other shit, right? That's what you're like. It's like, hey, I'm on my path. I'm not going to, like, listen to that shit.
If you ask me 10 years or 5 years, even if you ever asked me tomorrow, was all the decisions that I made as far as trying to be an individual, trying to respect people for who they are, loving my wife for who she is, not what her skin color is, not getting wrapped up into boxes. Was it fucking worth it now that you're outcasted from society's standards? Hell yes! Mm-hmm. And you know what? Like, sitting here with you is something that's interesting too, because if we were in the South in an area that still has a lot of racial segregation,
I'd probably be a racist fuck. Yeah.
Socially, they'd be like, "Oh, that guy, he got a beard and he's tall and white. He's probably racist." Yeah. No, that's me spewing racism.
Right.
How do we achieve the next level of life of society? How do we remove actual racist? One, you punch actual racists in the face. I gotta say it.
Yeah.
And two, people who aren't racist, stop looking at people through a racial lens.
Right.
Because then you'll stop being racist as well.
Yeah.
It's okay that we as humans recognize similarities and patterns. Like, we're humans. We have similarities. We have culture. We're all literally all of us are connected.
Yes.
Next week, if Donald Trump comes out and says, "All right, y'all, I'm running for the presidency of 2024," everyone's gonna be like, "Oh shit!"
Dude, he's definitely gonna run.
He's definitely gonna run. He's already talking shit about DeSantis.
DeSantis is he's terrible guy,
terrible guy,
really stupid guy.
His hair is his,
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
He doesn't even comb his hair over. He's an idiot.
But that's another example of how we portray others to be negative.
Yeah. I love when people do Trump impressions.
Oh,
That's great.
I love him,
man. I love it, dude. I just like it's so fun. Even if you like him or don't like him.
Dude,
I feel like no matter
comedy.
what you think about him, like, it's fun. The dude is so fun. The impressions and shit. Like,
have you ever watched one of his speeches?
I mean, sometimes.
Sometimes. I've watched a couple of speeches. It's like,
okay, I'll take
billions. I could not keep it together, man.
Okay, I'll take another question. Yes, you. Okay, you. Yeah.
No, fake
you're
news,
always doing that. You're always doing
news.
that, aren't you? You're always asking stupid questions, aren't you?
I love it, man.
Yeah, fake news.
The one compliment I could pay him is, holy shit, how many rallies did he do?
Oh, the sad thing is,
I don't have it that much. If I'm 65, or I don't even know how old he is at this point. God rest his whole, or
to have the energy he does at his age.
He must take Alpha Brain. Like, I take Alpha Brain.
Dude, he must take Adderall.
Brain, Adderall. He drinks nothing but the purest
Diet Coke.
Purest Diet Coke.
Pure crystal Diet Coke from the seas of Minnetonka.
The sweat follicles of Jesus.
Yeah. The rivers of Lake Minnetonka.
Yeah, something. I don't know, man. But damn, like, to have that energy.
Dude, you got to give that guy.
That's a goal. You got to give him his respect.
And his comedic timing, dude, like where she's like, Megan Kelly? She's like, you've treated women like this. You've said this about women. You said this. And he's like, only Rosie O'Donnell. Like that part. That was like.
Man, comedy never gets old.
There's these funny dudes that do these react videos, and I keep
yeah.
talking about them on here, so I gotta get their I should look them up so I can give them a shout out, because they do like react to like great stuff, but they're all in their 20s, so it's like,
oh yeah, it's the black guys, right?
Yes,
yeah,
dude.
I love like 4 of them.
We gotta find their thing. So let me see, react. So
I-
it's so fun because they'll watch like Metallica, Leonard Skinner,
Go off,
and like it's so fun watching these young people see for the first time like Master of Puppets, like a song that I've heard a million times, so you forget how amazing it can be on the first listen.
yeah.
Okay, so they're called the Cartier family.
The Cartier family, yes.
Cartier family, go give them like. But so not only do they do music, which is so fun, like watch them watch like Freebird by Leonard Skinner for the first time, and they're just like popping off. They're like, that fucking solo, like, you know, like it's like, I don't know, dude, and they're always they're just really entertaining, cool dudes. And so the Cartier family on YouTube. But they also watch like comedians and shit, and they'll like watch like Bill Burr go off about shit, and they,
God,
dude, like, and they're
Ricky Gervais.
they're so open, they're so like what's good for the culture, because you're right, they are African American dudes, but like they're watching stuff that should be cancelable, but they're laughing about it, and they're like, oh man, this shit's wild. Like they'll watch Dave Chappelle, and they're like, and they give people props for being wild. They give people props for doing the dangerous shit. Like they get it, they get comedy, and they get like. But they watched this like Trump's greatest reaction video, and like it was like that Rosie O'Donnell thing, and
dude,
like where he's like talking to like, and they're just
greatest
like
insults. I watched it a lot.
Greatest insults. They're just laughing so hard, dude. I'm like, I don't care what you think about the guy, you hate him, you're disgusted by him or what, but like you cannot deny the comedic element
There's
of that
so
guy.
much. There's so much in that.
Oh,
man.
you're wasting my time again. You always do. Your questions are stupid.
Yeah. It's almost unbelievable. I always used to tell people. I want to tell my kids when they grow up and shit.
They won't believe it.
Hey, we had a reality TV star as our president, and we
had a horny
some
old man with a comb over who had a fake spray tan, who probably got more pussy than most people in the world, especially more people that look like him, because nobody that looks like him should be able to get
I don't even know how he stands like that.
Yeah, he has no abdominal muscles, so he stands like this.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he's leaning half the time. I don't know what he does. I don't know. It's wild. You're right. You tell your kids that someday, you're going to be like, what the fuck was that?
Dude, and like, I think you touched on having like diversity with music. Music is so different. I think I can name I'm going down my playlist right now. I got, what is this? Got Casey Veggies in here acting up. Lady Gaga Paparazzi, the live performance. I don't like that one. I'm going to probably remove it later. Jasmine V, Kendrick Lamar, that's me right there. That was a banger.
I like Kendrick.
Promoting relationships. Killers When We Were Young. The Grammys, Kendrick Lamar. The Verve, Bittersweet Symphony.
Oh, that's a great song.
That song is timeless, right? Get What You Give by New Radicals. That is another song that helps me.
Yeah, I remember the New Radicals. Oh, yeah, I actually remember that song, dude.
Mm-hmm. God, that was
Do you ever listen to, lately I've been obsessed with this, do you ever listen to MGMT?
Dude!
Like Electric
I
Feel?
thought you'd never say it.
Yeah.
MGMT is
the shit.
The top 10 most important things that life has ever provided to the world.
Yeah.
If we were in the Stone Ages and MGMT showed up, and even if they got burned at the stake for being witches, I would have loved if they were just back.
Dude, there's this song that they have called Time to Pretend. Have you ever heard it?
Yes.
The lyrics to it blow my mind, because it's like, there's so much truth.
Times?
Yeah, there's so much truth in it, and they're kind of talking about that, like, you know, what we're saying, we're like family and love and friends are the most important thing, but we all kind of get like trapped on this hedonic treadmill of always wanting more and more. And I love like their lines. It's like, you know, I'll go to Paris, shoot some heroin, and fuck with the stars. You man the island and the cocaine and the elegant cars. And it's like, yes, it's overwhelming, but what else could we do? Get jobs in offices and wake up for the morning. So it's funny. It's like they're basically saying like, well, we have to become rock stars and live a life of excess, because what's our only other alternative? Just getting office jobs.
We're
and
going
just
9 to 5,
hating our life. So instead, we're gonna go after this hardcore life. And I love it. It's like let's make some music, get some money, get some models for what, you know, just like that wanting more and more and better. And then they're like, you know, then the models have children. We'll get a divorce. We'll find some more models. And then at the end, it's like the weird ending is like we'll choke on our vomit, and that will be the end. We're fated to pretend.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it is like everything.
They're saying here, these are the boxes that we put out. And that's
Right.
why I'm so against boxes, bro.
And they're kind of like saying, like, you know, like it's part like I miss the, like that really heavy line is where he's like, you know, I miss the something. I miss my mom. I miss my dog. I miss my cat. And I miss my dad. I miss my something. And the you know, the free time of being a child. So it's like the idea that when you become an adult, you all turn into these like kind of like what you're saying, fake like pretenders.
Pretenders.
And
man.
it's like, but the real shit that matters is the stuff he's saying. I miss the animals, the, you know, digging up worms, being with my mom, being with my, like those are, you know, it's like, how do we lose that as we get older, dude? But that song is heavy, dude.
It's a heavy one.
I was feeling that the other day because we were out, and I was kind of like, you know, I went out with my work group. That was when you text me like, "Hey, can you talk?"
Yeah, I saw the
and I'm out there like just kind of like living my best life, like smoking a cigar like a douchebag and chilling with my coworkers, kind of feeling myself and like,
yeah,
you know. And so I put that song as the TikTok that I put out with it, and it because it's like, it is weird. It's like, it is kind of like that is what life's like, you know, like. But the important stuff is like the real stuff.
Yeah.
Like the stuff he's saying he misses. You know, but we're so out chasing the fucking other shit.
You know, I always tell my friends when they're and people I come across when they say, "Oh man, I just want to, you know, make all the money and blah blah blah, and this relationship didn't work out, blah blah." That when you stop, one, if you're looking for love, stop.
Yeah.
Stop right now. Don't rethink it. Just stop.
Yes.
The second you stop looking for love, you can start to love yourself. And then when you love yourself,
it'll come.
That person will show up.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're going to help you see that you're really, at that point, not even loving yourself. Right. And then the love for yourself has to turn into discipline and self-love. It's just never-ending thing of self-love. Mm-hmm. When you really love yourself, you can say, you know what? I'm in great shape. You know, I got the muscle. I could eat that cake, but do I really want to? You know, do I really want to? Do I really want to go off of my goal? I'm working this job and they treat me like shit. Do I really want to stay here, or do I want to throw caution to the wind because I could die tomorrow? Right. What type of parent would I be right now? Like when I have kids next year, when I say you can be anything you want to be when you grow up, and I don't show them,
and you don't do it,
that I can be whatever I want to be.
Dude, I think I'm that's a liar. So powerful. Yeah. So like that's like what that's
scary.
My coach and his wife, they that's the kind of stuff they say. Them. Like, so do I, dude, because like it's kind of like, you know, like Kim's really impressive because like she had a baby and stuff, and then went on to get in the best shape.
Bam!
And probably
best shape of her life
and have her best show ever. Like, but I can't remember if it was her or Jordan. One of those two were telling me about that. Like, but the idea is like, just because we're parents now, what a disservice it would be to our child if we gave up on our own dreams just because we have a kid now.
Kids are not burdens.
Honestly, kids are like you should be showing your kid that you're still going hard after what you love. You're not going to just stop because, well, now my priority is my kid, so I'm going to stop. No, like you said, what a disservice. Like, what would you be doing to your son if you're not you tell him he can be anything he wants, but you're not fucking doing that?
It's a scary thought.
You know what I mean?
It is literally to me. It is terrifying.
So they're like embodying that, which is like it's awesome, dude.
I love when people are on their path. I can never be upset when someone's doing great things. I get that whole jealousy thing. It just doesn't kind of coincide with me at all.
Dude, that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing I think people need to learn is stop being jealous and be inspired.
Carrie Hilson said it. Jealousy is the ugliest trait.
It's gross. Yeah.
She said it in the song "Pretty Girl Rock" back when I was coming up. So,
dude, shout out! Yeah, you are eclectic with that music, dude.
I love music.
So what's not that MGMT, like not just that song, like Electric all their stuff. Electric Feel's the shit.
So Electric Feel's good, but Electric Feel, the autistic, excuse me, part of my misspeech, my misspeech right
chill,
there.
You're chill.
The acoustic version.
Is
fire.
Dude, I gotta get that now. I'll have to put that on my
Dude, just look it up. As soon as I leave here, or as soon as we're done with here, I'm gonna play it. We'll play it. You're gonna be like, dude, it's so amazing when you hear what music is supposed to be like, the artist perspective versus when the producer comes in and everything changes.
Right.
You know, MGMT made the most beautiful album, and then
that album is amazing.
The whole album. I listened to the whole thing. And I've experienced with psychedelics and stuff like that, so I understand what it's like to go through an experience and find yourself wanting to be less than egotistical, driven to make somebody else rich, driven to get away from your family to your job and come home exhausted, feeling less than yourself. if you ask me what I do for work, I would tell you a bunch of things.
Right. There's so many things.
There's so many things I do, and a lot of them, the work is on for myself. It's not even a dollar thing. Like $1, it's a number in my bank account.
Part of what. It's not.
Throw it away.
Right.
It's just a tool. It's literally just a tool. The best currency you'll ever receive in life is the effect you have on other human beings, and that is where it's at, my friend.
But that's kind of like what you said about if somebody's looking for love. I mean, I think money is the same way. Like, I think it'll come if you're doing what you love, and like, that's the other thing I've noticed too. Like, you can't chase success. You just have to go and do what you love doing. Like, why are we podcasting all the time, dude? It's because we like doing it. It's because we're getting value out of it. We're not really making a shit ton of money doing it or anything, dude. It's like, that'll come. But like, that's not what it's about. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're doing it because it's like, it's fun and you love it.
Well, I mean, while we're here, I just want to say one thing, man. I do love what you do.
Yeah.
And if everybody else here loves what you do, man, I really do encourage them to head over to your listener support on your
right
on your page, man.
Same with
Spotify.
you, dude. Yeah, people
on
can
Spotify,
help a lot. Yeah.
And just reach out and ask, hey, if you like something that someone does who's a podcaster, reach out and ask them and say, hey, what can I do to support your channel? Because for me, the best thing you can do personally for like my channel, I shut off subscription because I disagree with subscriptions. I think that you should never have to pay to hear somebody break down in my house or over a Zoom call with me.
Because there's so much value in it.
So
you want to get it out into the world. Yeah.
I just want to share with the world.
But at the end of the day, too, like, you want to make money doing it eventually. You know what I'm saying?
I want to make money off of it so I can
people
use
that
it
enjoy
it.
Right. Because like, it's like the next thing is like better
I want to
studio.
send somebody who's been a domestic violence survivor.
Yeah, now you can start raising money.
I want to send them to We the Females shooting class.
Yeah.
So they can learn, a holistic way to approach, self-defense and taking back your power. There's something that's very magical. I wouldn't even call it powerful. It's magical about having a gun in your hand after you've been a victim of a situation, and
knowing that you could now do something about it.
Well, that, and also knowing now that this is an equalizer, and this is one thing that can save you when you are in literally the worst situation in your life. I'm talking about people trying to kidnap you. And for the idiot mansplainers all over the world of Instagram, they're going to say, oh, well, you wouldn't have time. Shut the fuck up. You don't know.
Oh, dude, I hate that.
You never know what someone else can do with the right tools.
Yeah.
I've seen great acts.
It doesn't matter how big and strong you are either. If you were in a vulnerable situation, somebody could come and take advantage of you somehow, steal from you, cripple you.
One knock to the back of the head with a mini bat is one of the most.
I think of that all the time. I'm like, people don't fuck with me because I'm big, but like, I'm always like, sometimes there'll be certain times I'm walking in my car or doing this, and I'm all, like you said, you're always kind of like, I don't know, I'm the type of person that's always paying attention to my surroundings and stuff, and never quite. I don't just walk through the world and trust it. I'm always kind of like.
Well, you can't trust the world, and this is where it comes down to my Second Amendment, beliefs. Honestly, we have some big issues that we face in society, and it would be insane if I didn't look at it from this standpoint. So I'm going to bring it up because doing the same thing does not work. It would be insane for me to say, okay, there are racists out in the world with AR-15s. Why don't we just say a piece of paper and put it out to the world that says you can't have that anymore? Or if they're gonna cause terrorist attacks, why would we wait 4 or 5 minutes for the police to respond to the crime, not prevent the crime, but respond to the incident? The feds have known about quite a few of these active shooters and have literally dropped the ball in preventing it when there have literally been gun-related incidents involving some of these active shooters before.
And why do you think they keep dropping the ball on that? Is it
like
they're worried about jumping the gun, like getting?
I really wish I could put my finger on it, but I really can't.
Because I know that's a thing where they've had like warning signs and done nothing, and then it's like, well, you tell me this could have been prevented, but it's like, what are they might be limited in what they can do before there's an actual incident or something. Or
I'll tell you what, man. I'm gonna put it like this. There was a young little girl who I used to babysit. She was my sister's best friend in Marysville High School.
Yeah.
Or in Marysville, right on Grove Elementary. And she went to Marysville Pilchuck High School one day, and she got gunned down by a friend, by a family member of mine, in an active shooter.
And how many people were killed?
I think I can be honest, man. I only saw Two Faces, and it. You can't really have somebody close to you in a situation like that and not wonder, man, maybe we should just ban all the guns. I can tell you right now, in wholehearted honesty, that when you say that people cannot have guns, if we just broad stroked it like England did, their knife attacks are up. Their gun incidents are still up. The cops don't even walk around with guns.
Right.
Why would you call somebody who can get outgunned by somebody? It's math. 1 + 1 is 2. One plus -3 is a bad number. Like it's not going to work.
Right.
When you have, if I have a gun, and you have a gun, and it's now an even playing field.
Right.
The criminals, the people who are so just tormented by whatever. I'm not going to sit here and make excuses for them, but they're tormented by whatever demons are in their mind.
They want to hurt.
They want to hurt people. You do not want to be waiting, and my blood's boiling already, man. Let's talk about Uvalde.
Yeah.
You do not want to be waiting on a coward. You don't know who's going to show up.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's for all law enforcement because I
know but that was a bad situation.
But there. Watching the footage on, anybody can go on About Violence podcast right now on YouTube and I recommend they do, and watch the breakdown by Tim Kennedy and by people who respond to active shooters.
Dude, that's got to make guys like Tim Kennedy so fucking pissed. Because men like him who are super capable of handling situations like that, I bet he watches a thing like that and it makes him fucking sick.
It makes me personally
sick.
So I feel full of unrest.
Yeah. Because it could have been prevented.
That is the best breakdown I could ever say about that. But me personally, like with guns, AR-15s, right? Oh, it's a scary thing. I really recommend you stop listening to the news tell you what you need and don't need in your life, because years ago they told black people that you couldn't ride a bus.
Mm-hmm.
Years ago the news called us all Negroes. Do not listen to any media platform tell you how to protect yourself, because they're not the criminal. The criminal does not run the news network. I've watched women and children be attacked on the streets in Seattle, just working there, literally fixing an escalator, not doing a thing. And I'm looking up. I've watched someone get gunned down with a revolver on the middle of frickin' 3rd Street. I've watched people get fentanyl smoke blown in their face and collapse, and I have to Narcan them. You never know what you're going to come across in life. I've had people try to rob me right down the street from IDS in China, near International Chinatown, 3 times. Thank God I know how to be patient, create distance, and I don't want to do paperwork. So, guns are distance tools. I create distance, and I'm thankful. The other time I was way too close, and I got in a scrap with somebody who had a knife. I couldn't even draw my gun in time. I'm very, very blessed to not walk away with issues, serious. Knife fights are not fun that you bleed, and I'm very thankful as well to have never been bleeding out, wondering why I listened to somebody from the government tell me why I don't need a gun.
Right.
It might sound a little bit crazy to say that, but these are my experiences. They're not going to be. Not everybody has a great neighborhood. Not everybody has, for these politicians that are telling you that you do not need firearms and stuff like that. 100 times out of 100, they're able.
Well, they have firearms protecting them.
They have firearms protecting them. It's called law enforcement.
It's really weird. And then I feel like the people that get so ideologically against it, they've grown up, a lot of them, in very safe environments.
I'm happy for them. I'm happy that
they can't understand the idea that violence. They've never experienced violence themselves. So and it's the same way with saying well, we don't need a military and we don't need this and we don't need guns. It's you guys don't understand what human nature in reality is. If we didn't have a military, there would be other countries that would come in, and you would now be
look at Ukraine.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
If you look at Ukraine,
you're fucked in the head.
You have grandmas toting AK-47s, sticking up for their home.
You should be thankful that our country has such a great military and that we're so protected and that we are a superpower in the world. You don't understand. Humans aren't just naturally nice. That's not. We've created this safe society, and a lot of people have fought and died to create it.
Well, look at the Pulse nightclub. If we look at it, we look at these horrible incidents where people are preyed upon. I would have loved to hear a story about but they're not publicized. There are so many
They
stories.
never want to publicize those
You'll have to
stories,
go
dude,
to like a concealed carrier page, Facebook group, or something like that, or you have to follow some independent journalists if you're really going to hear any story about homeowner hears gunshots next door at convenience store, runs
and
up,
stops it,
and drops the guy who is literally shooting a family of 6 kids.
Well, that's not convenient because it doesn't fit their correct narrative.
It doesn't fit a narrative. So I understand why people have these ideologies, and I'm not saying.
Oh, I do too. I totally get where that ideology.
That they're wrong. I'm just saying that I like my fucking guns.
Right.
I like my wife being safe.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea that if something happened, she would have a choice. Everyone loves choices. You have a choice whether you can be a victim or a victor with the right circumstances, with the right training, with the right education, with understanding what's more important when not to shoot. This is not an emotional thing. This is a self-defense thing. Right. There's a lot of people out there who give gun owners a bad name. Responsible gun owners in America are not criminals. And I wish the ATF.
Well, I think you do a good job of
making us that, man.
Well,
I'm not a fucking criminal.
No, but I think you do a good job of representing somebody that's a responsible gun owner.
Thank you, man.
You know
I appreciate that.
And I think what you do is actually important. And well, I was gonna say I understand where it comes from.
Yeah.
But I believe what they're doing is they're envisioning some kind of utopian ideal in their head of what human beings and society are, and
sadly,
they don't understand the realities, the harsh reality. They don't understand the bear ripping the other bear's cub to shreds. They don't understand nature. They don't understand that that's this fantasy land where nobody's out trying to hurt anybody else. There are dangerous, bad people trying to hurt other people, and you need good, capable, strong, equally as dangerous, good people to stop them. I mean, that's just part of it. It's a reality.
Yes, brother. And I like to say a couple things about that would help build perspective around what you just said, because it's important. Who do you call when someone's breaking into your home? What do you call your safe space? When someone's breaking into your home in the middle of the night, you're going to have a response time that is determined by how many officers are already on a call. You don't know if there was just a shooting.
Yeah.
I lived up the street where my friend's son was murdered, right on Spruce Way, or next to Spruce Way at Spruce, right next to Spruce Park, and it
it takes a while.
Dude, the cops swarmed the place. Where are the rest of the cops? Do you mean literally we just defunded? We as a society we had this ideology that maybe we should just defund them if they're out there fucking up. That's a polarized statement because we're judging everybody based off the same thing, which is what we don't want. We don't want people to be put in boxes. Right. I don't want you to look at me like, oh, well, you're not acting black. That's going to be a very, very rude, it's intentionally hurtful thing to say.
Yeah.
You're not like every white person.
Right.
My wife's not like every white woman. Everybody's special.
Everyone's individual.
There are horrible people in this world. People literally rape children in other countries, and it's considered a normalcy.
Yeah.
Pedophilia is considered a normalcy in some countries. And a lot of people will travel with the military and go to these countries and be enraged, and you literally cannot stop the little girl of 11 years old who is going to keep being played as a sex slave to some horrible pimp overseas, and you don't know how to save them. Mm-hmm. That is a hands tied behind the back situation. You do not want people who are capable of committing violence on the behalf of people who don't want to have their hands tied behind their back, and that's the slippery slope we are looking at. If we remove, if we keep going in that direction, if you take my AR-15, don't expect me to be the motherfucker in the Wolverines, because your ass is going to be like, oh please, person that invaded, don't.
Well, we always say that,
don't say my food. Like, you better be. I hope you expect me to keep dry firing. I hope you expect me to keep practicing the mental plan of when not to shoot. I hope you expect me to keep teaching kids how to keep their finger off the trigger so I don't lose another family member to gun ignorance. Right? Dude,
it's so funny because those same people that are so anti it, if we had an apocalypse situation where
you're fucked, bro.
Society broke down, they'd be begging guys like you to please protect me.
I'm gonna please get their shit.
You know what I'm saying, dude?
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
human beings are very, very tribal.
They're just way too dependent.
Crazy thing.
They're way too dependent on this safe and soft, vulnerable society that we've created, and they don't understand that somebody is keeping the society intact. So you can't make these la la la, everybody's
no.
peace and love, and
No.
we're just gonna
It doesn't
get
work
rid
like
of all the
that.
guns,
I'm
and everybody's
sorry.
gonna love each other. It's like, that is not reality.
If let's look at this from a
You're
criminal
ignoring
standpoint.
you're ignoring a lot of human nature with that. You know.
If I have a gun and you don't, you are now my victim.
I'd have
in an apocalypse.
Yeah.
Let's change that word apocalypse and
Say I saved a bunch of food and you had a gun and I didn't. That's your food.
Let's
now.
just say we take that word apocalypse, right, and make it normal life where criminals are real, because they are. Surprise, surprise, criminals are real.
Right.
People break into homes.
All the time.
People will hurt you for no reason, and that's the reality of it. There's true evil that exists in the world, especially in America.
Look at that Paul. Remember that Paul Pelosi? Did you see that video,
dude?
Like, think how long it took the cops to get there.
How long did it? He had you by the wrist, like
it was
with
weird.
a hammer.
Yeah.
That is terrible.
And that, so you're saying, like, even a guy that famous who should have had his house way more protected, a guy was able to get in there with a hammer, and it took the police how long to get there?
Well, in that area, it's not surprising. They've we can go into deep.
And then they get there and he bashes the dude in the head with the fucking hammer, like
in the fucking head.
Yeah, right in front of the cops. It was weird.
I can tell you this: the criminals are more brazen. Criminals are more empowered because of the lack of police's ability to do police work.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about bully citizens on our taxpayer dollar, because I detest that.
Right, and I understand where people are coming from, because they view it like a social class thing, and I understand it, where it's like they view the police as like the long arm of basically the elites and the wealthy, so it can get very oppressive, and that is bad. And we know that's a true thing too.
We've watched it.
But used as a world with zero police just makes no sense. I understand we need to reform, we need to have better police, we need to be careful, because I do get it. It's like, then it becomes like, oh, they're just helping the rich people. Like, if a rich but it's like, yeah, but man, we still need them.
And this is something I try to reach out to the senator in our area, Mark Elias, I believe is his name. I try to reach out to have a conversation with him before he tried to pass this BS nonsense gun law in our state, where you can only have 10-round capacity. I wanted to ask him, do you think that honestly represents the best thing for someone who is a minority like myself, who is being preyed upon by other people? And if I just found out that people were going to come in and try to kill me and I have to wait my however long for a background check,
right? Or
if I'm being stalked as a lady, because it happens to people who are so close to me. It happened to my fucking wife.
Yeah.
People being stalked. And
it'll happen.
We have to get guns to protect ourselves, because stalking is a very serious, real thing.
I've seen it happens a lot, especially with women.
Yeah, we regularly watch it on Netflix.
Yeah.
Serial killers and shit.
Oh yeah. There's tons of those.
Do you want them to have to depend on, they're able to, law-abiding citizens do not want to just go gun somebody down for fun. Law-abiding citizens want to protect themselves. So if you only have 10 rounds and you're not trained and you're missing because, I don't know, you've never been attacked from behind before, while you're getting to your car at the end of the day, wouldn't you want more bullets in your gun to defend yourself? I fucking think so.
It's weird too, because I was just thinking, and it just popped in my head, like, remember that, like, it was Netflix, that Dahmer show?
Dude, yes.
It's like the first victim on the show that he, like, if he had a gun on him, if he was strapped in that first encounter, when shit got weird, he could have just pulled the gun and been like, let me the fuck out of your house, you fucking weirdo. You know, like...
And guns, and I would say this, guns are distance tools. If you're pistol whipping somebody with your gun, it's not a distance tool. If you're in a fight for your life and you're scrambling and you use it, that's a different story. So there's always exceptions to most things. But one thing that you cannot find an exception to is criminals are going to fucking criminal. Taliban's going to Taliban. Al-Qaeda is going to Al-Qaeda. Yeah. And people who are hateful and evil in this world are going to do exactly what they want. The best thing you can do is practice, prepare, be situationally aware, instruct the youth to carry that mantle for you next. Hey, like my wife's little brother, Jackson, I want you to be a responsible firearm owner. I don't want you to get a gun and get in an argument and shoot somebody like a freaking idiot. And he wants to be in law enforcement when he grows up. He needs to know when not to shoot. Because
that's important, man.
When not to shoot is the key.
Yes.
So every freaking day we're talking about that positive mental ingestion of when not to shoot.
Well, because even if somebody is doing something, I feel like the right thing to do, even if someone breaks in your house, the last thing you want to do is actually
end their
shoot
life.
them.
The last thing,
Because there's always reform, right? Like there's always people that make
yes.
mistakes and go on
Yes.
and fix them. So somebody breaks in your house, you're not gonna just try to shoot them.
Removing life
Like,
is never
you're
positive.
gonna pull the gun and you're gonna be like, get the fuck out of my house. I'm calling the police right now. If you make this move, I will shoot you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But it's what you're trying to get over is that it's very important to know the last thing you want to do, and it'll burden you just if you take a life. It'll burden you
forever.
So it's like it's not about just like yeah. So that's an important thing to say too. Yeah.
It definitely is, man.
Yeah. And that's just something you learn with being a responsible gun owner.
It's very simple. If I want to not go to jail for a shitty shitty situation, the last thing you want to do is be sitting about the fact that you just removed somebody from this world and somebody's mom doesn't have a kid, or somebody doesn't have a man to look up, or mom looked up to, just because you were nervous, scared, or upset.
Yes, you don't want
fear of your life. You know, we can talk about moral justification and all that stuff later. How you feel, it doesn't really matter at that point. Mm-hmm. Is this justified or is it not?
Yeah.
Are you supposed to violently remove life from this world via a firearm and use the tool the way it's supposed to be used, or are you crossing the line and okay, you just removed life unnecessarily, you're going to jail, you're a murderer.
Right.
That's a slippery slope, and it happens so much more.
Yeah, it should be the last thing you ever want to do to end somebody else's life.
And a lot of people don't. The scary thing is, we never know how many people actually freeze up because they haven't trained. They just had that gun sitting there. They didn't have or how many people pulled the trigger and they didn't have a round in the chamber. Yeah. And now you're SOL. If I hear a click, I'm gonna close the distance immediately because you just tried to kill me, and now I feel justified to do what I need to do.
Right.
And there's so many components that go into it, but what I'm trying to get across is, and I think we both agree on this subject, is it's so important to remember everybody. Guns affect everybody. And, people who use them for bad, that's them. Right. We have never, ever blamed freaking the lightsaber for Anakin Skywalker killing younglings in Star Wars. We wouldn't,
No, that was him turning evil.
Yes.
So, I do think, too, it's weird. It's like you think about, like, back when there's Native American tribes here, and, like, you think they ever would have, like, let their population grow up without having defense from like other tribes and stuff? Like,
no.
Or like, you think that would have ever crossed your mind? Like, we don't need to train our sons to be warriors or be good with weapons because we just think out of human nature the other tribe won't come and kill us and take all our resources.
No, it ain't gonna be all good.
It's just so silly to think like that, man.
It's not gonna be all good. We need warriors. We need lovers. A lot of warriors I know are the most loving, kind people, right. and they're special operations, operators.
Well,
and they love everybody.
It's cheesy, but I love that. Like it's like Jordan Peterson quote about like you want to be a monster, but you want to be able to control it type of thing.
To know true peace, you must know unrest, war, however you want.
Like you should be a capable, scary motherfucker, but be able to control it so that you can stop other people that are scary.
When I got my shoulder fucked up, I learned how to shoot my AR-15 one-handed.
Yeah.
I even purchased a pistol
just in case.
A pistol brace or whatever, I can shoot one-armed.
Yeah, so you were ready even then.
And I practiced drawing one-handed. I'd yank out my shirt fast enough and get to my gun fast enough to pull it out.
Yeah.
I practiced everything, and I couldn't imagine life without feeling
skill,
without knowing that I can stick up for myself.
It's that ability, that capability.
Yes.
You feel capable.
Yes.
Well, and you know what's funny, dude? That's like the same thing that when we were talking earlier about people being insecure, it's like they're insecure because they feel incapable and scared.
Yes.
And so that's when people get insecure. Like when you've got your shit together, you are usually much more loving, caring. You want to see other people do well. You're less jealous. It's because you have your house in order, kind of.
Yes, you got to have your house in order.
And if you don't, you feel inadequate, incapable, weak, and then you start hating on other people, and like, I don't like that shit.
It's just toxicity, and that's why it's important to focus on yourself. I'm focused on the things that I do, but if anyone is looking for resources for how to start your self-defense journey, please reach out to me. I'll send you a literal shit ton. Wherever you're at, I can help you find a responsible gun instructor that would help you.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I recommend for people outside the state of Washington, USCCA, the United States Concealed Carrier Association. They do a great job of great information, how to be a responsible gun owner, how to and if you're on the verge about getting a gun, listen to their podcast with Tim Kennedy as he talks about his journey to stop sexual predators and sex traffickers in America. That is it for me.
Dude, that's powerful shit.
Because like sitting here, like where I'm at, like 2 years ago, 2020, when I'm having people try to yell, scream things at me, obscenities, and try to bash into my car when I'm working in a riot. I wasn't in the protest. I was in the fucking riot portion, and there was riot portions. There were also protest portions, but there was I was in the middle of a fucking riot, trapped on it, trying to get to the freeway, and people were trying to bash in my car, and I had to really think: do I drop this motherfucker just because he has a bat, or do I give him grace for being emotionally charged? Should I make an emotional decision? I'm scared of being beat to death by 20 people and paraded through the streets after I drop some pissed off kid.
Yeah.
I'm scared of that. I don't want to, but I'm not scared of anything because I've had the training.
Right.
I've taken the time to listen to people smarter than me. So resources, USCCA, active self-protection. John does a great job there. We the female, ask her questions. If you're a lady and you're on the fence about guns, or some douchebag told you that don't worry, guys will keep you safe, or you're a lady, you need to find this gun that works for you. Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
Talk to somebody who's a great advocate for ladies.
Women should always do self-defense and always become capable too.
Yes.
The idea that I'm all for that too. I think that's like even kind of sexist when it's like
horribly.
Yeah, like because I know some pretty badass women.
Yes, man.
Yeah, like in fighters, MMA.
Women are
Muay Thai. Like
dude. I'll tell you what, I can't pop nothing out of my vagina. I don't have one.
Right.
So,
Well, and like other women, so I'm always like, and if a woman wants to just be, if that's not her thing either, I'm not going to judge women.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's this hatred for like women that like do traditional women stuff too. It's like I'm kind of the same way with that. Like, if you're really into this, if you're really into that, whatever you're into, be who you are.
Be who you are, and I love that, man. You got a really great head on your shoulders, and you have so many things figured out, man. I really admire who you are. I admire the way you look at life, dude. Conversations with you are something that I get excited. I was so excited.
It's so fun, dude. You too, man. This is fun. Yeah.
I get excited, man.
Well, I like that you're so passionate about all this stuff because it's like I don't know. I think what you're doing, what you're putting out in the world is really good because the idea that you're telling people, look, if you're having suicidal thoughts, this and this, I'm here to help. Here's resources here to help. This is like, you're not going to look at those people and be like, what are you talking about? Don't talk about that stuff.
Or suck it up.
Yeah, suck it up. That doesn't work.
You haven't even experienced anything. Like,
you're just weak.
Everybody's
suck
experiences
it up.
are so different. If you were quote unquote spoon fed, and you having a tough time, how you feel is no different than somebody else's experience, and that's why I hate how people compare themselves. With this VA disability thing, I got it indoctrinated at a bad level. Like, oh, you haven't even been fucking shot up. Like, why you really gonna take the money from them? It's not like that. Don't compare your experiences. Seek help wherever you need it.
Well, everyone's experience is gonna be different because it's weird.
Yes.
You will see, like, I will listen to dudes that were in the Army on podcasts, and some of them have been through some of the craziest, worst shit ever, and you know what? They're fine.
Yeah.
They're actually okay. And there's other people that go through that stuff, and they're not fine. And both of those are okay. You know what I'm saying?
Training,
but like
decompression.
Everybody is just different. That's all there is to it. So it's like, for you to tell a person, like, well, what are you fucking talking about? Just suck it up. It's like,
it's not healthy.
Maybe for them it's not that easy.
Well, that's when that's why I detest when that douchebag, the Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy went to a ship that had forced, I think it was a couple suicide in a weekend, and he showed up to that ship and he told them, and someone asked, what are you going to do about these suicides? Like, you need to lower your standards. Lowering your standards, the Navy should have the highest of standards. We should have the highest quality of sailors on this face of the fucking earth. How about we increase our leadership? We find out the root of the problem and we attack it. We're literally, the Navy is not at active war. We're not bombing each other's ships with other countries. Find the active root of the problem. And I want to say I completely denounce that act. If you are in the military and you have suicidal ideations, please do reach out to me or somebody.
Right.
There's somebody who will listen. Somebody will listen.
Right. Yeah, there's a friend of mine too have spoken about openly on here about his thoughts like that after a breakup, and it was like he was the same way. He was like, man, anybody that needs help, because he's doing like AA and he's doing a lot of men's meetings and stuff outside of that, and I'm like, man, I didn't know this was going to be this episode, but that was powerful shit. Like,
I love that.
You know, because I think it is easy to just like get mad and tell people to suck it up and all that, but it's like, I don't know, man. You just don't know what's going on inside somebody's head.
It
Or
doesn't.
like,
It doesn't sound sexy when
Yeah.
somebody says they want to hurt themselves.
no, no, it doesn't at all. So guys try to hide it, and that's kind of his point. Was like he said the thing that helped him the most. It's weird because he came on the show and he said the thing that helped him the most was like putting sunlight on it. He said so, bringing it to the light. So like being open about his feelings and then processing them, having friends to lean on, and then working through it, getting past it, getting therapy. But it was bringing it to the light to like disinfect it, to bring it out, to stop. And it was so weird because then it was like right after that episode, there was like this Metallica released this new song called like Screaming Suicide. And it was basically like the entire thing was like, you're hiding these feelings, you're hiding these feelings. And then at the end of the song, he finally like lets the feelings out and lets them go and becomes healthy. And it's like, man, that was such a weird. Sometimes I feel like life is like some kind of weird like written thing or some shit.
Where
You know?
life happens
Yeah.
for you, not to you. Right?
Yeah, it's
It
so
really
weird
does.
sometimes like that. But
There's so many weird quotes out there. I really I love that you found beauty in that, man.
Yeah, I do that sometimes. And, you know, maybe that's just me like making sense out of things. Maybe it's not like the universe, but sometimes it feels like it, you know.
I think that one day someone's going to be sitting right here and have a moment where they're touching on subject and they're not they might not be really mentally prepared for them to have those emotions, and you're going to be able to reach out to them, maybe not even
Yeah.
physically, but you bet
Yeah,
say, hey,
yeah.
you know what, man, anything you're going through, you want to take a second, man, let's just chat.
Right.
Or you want to talk about it live. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure somebody watching this might be able to resonate with that, and he might be the next person,
Yeah.
or whoever's sitting here might be the next person to help another person.
Well, and the thing is, too, it helps me just hearing these people's stories, dude. It's weird. Like, and I think it's weird. There's something about getting it out, like, online, you know? Like, there is something about just putting yourself out there that I feel like, I don't know. Like, you probably get that a lot, too, with what
Yes.
you're doing. It's like, it's something, like, cathartic about it, right?
It's destiny, man. The stars align. When I listen to somebody who is one of my heroes, an Army Ranger, man,
Right.
talk about how he lost so many friends to suicide, and every day what keeps him grounded is his family. It touched me on a different level, because I don't look when I like I've had suicidal ideations, and
Mm-hmm.
I really try not to talk about it,
Right.
but I'm going to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've had suicidal ideations before. I've almost committed suicide once, and if it wasn't for me reminding myself of the importance of loving myself, I would have never found myself.
Right.
It was during my transition. I was fucking pissed off at the world. I hated everything in my life, and
Yeah.
like I had everything. I had a wife that loved me. That is so much more than more people have, and not to compare, but she was so much to me. And I needed to remember that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did, I bet life has color to it. Life was not black and white. Life has color. It's it might not be a horrible day. It might be kind of a day. The day's not over. I'm not asleep yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to the fucking gym. That's what turn my day
But it's
around.
like you found your purpose, you found your meaning, you found the thing that's like, oh, this is more important than myself.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like I've been hearing that a lot too. Like your life doesn't really get good until you find something outside of yourself that's more important than you to take care of. And a lot of people, they don't do it until they have kids.
Or until they die, man.
Yeah.
You know, they said in that song, you live your life and then your life becomes a better one, in the song 7 Years Old. And that's a song that resonates heavily with me.
Yeah.
You really, like, I hope my children come and visit once or twice a month. Like, I hope they come and share their life with me after I'm gone at the grave. And I think about my lasting effect that I want to have on the world. I want to be remembered for the connections I helped other people make, not for who I am. The only reason I can be honest on here. I was going to do it. I hate the fact that I had to put my name on my podcast for it to be individual, because someone already took the name. But they only put out like 4 episodes at a time or whatever. But I had to put my name in there so that when people just looked up my name, they'd be able to find me. Or people looked up Off the Even podcast are going to find just multiple things.
So you couldn't do off the record because it was already taken? Yeah. Or off the deep end.
Well,
sorry.
both were already taken.
You tried both off the
Yeah.
deep end, off the record.
Because I love. That
I like the name though, dude. Yeah, I mean, I guess someday maybe you'll get so big you can just buy that dude out.
I would love to retire him respectfully.
What does he have? How many episodes?
I haven't looked since I started.
You should just go send him a message, be like, bro, I'll give you $500. Just give me your name. Like if he's only got 4 episodes, he might be like,
that's okay. I don't want to squander because maybe what if he's
maybe that's important to him.
What if he's doing great things?
Right. True.
But still, fuck him though. No,
that's why I'm like, bro, just buy him out. Fuck it. Like offer him some money.
I really think I might do it in the future.
Yeah.
And it's not because I want me to be up there. I don't want to be elevated. I'm already so spiritually elevated every single day. I'm taking care of my mental health, my spiritual health, my emotional health.
Yeah.
I took a major step talking to my parents today.
Yeah.
That was huge to me. And
that is huge because you're right. We do that a lot with where we get into that like just regular talking of like, hey, how's it going? Good. Yeah, you're good. Okay, good. But nothing real gets said. It's weird.
Dude, weeping, crying tears of joy. Do it more, people. If you're listening to this, cry tears of joy. Look at your wife and say, how the fuck did you and I end up together to where you can make me feel alive?
It's pretty special, right?
That you remind me I have value when I don't feel like I do. Mm-hmm. Or, shithead little brother, why don't you listen to your mom? Do you know what she's done for you? Yeah. He doesn't know now, but one day he's going to grow up and he's going to...
Oh, he'll know someday.
He's going to feel bad for when he acts up because
I think we all get there someday, dude. Like, we all like, oh my God. It's like, you start getting older, you just look at your parents like, oh my God, what they did for me. Because you don't realize it when you're a kid, dude. Like...
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, or it could be for you, your grandpa or your stepdad or what.
I just hope I have the wisdom to continue to be self-aware. I think self-consciousness is very, very dangerous because it can become negative very quickly.
Oh, it can put you in a fucking like a hamster wheel. But
absolutely, brother. But if I'm self-aware, I can say, I probably shouldn't have dissed on that guy's podcast. So maybe not fuck him.
Right.
Maybe just fuck the fact that he had the good idea, right?
Yeah, but it's still funny. We can joke around.
But we can still joke around. We're still treacherous around here.
It's still fun to just like bullshit a little bit. But yeah, dude, like man. You're right. Like it's that overthinking or what? Yeah, that those self-critical type people. But so like I have a buddy too that's like he's trying to get in shape right now, so I'm gonna maybe make him a workout plan and stuff. But it's like he's a tough guy because he's like too intelligent. So he's like, you know what I mean?
You
like
let some of that go.
Yeah, it's like he's too intelligent, so he'll overthink every little.
That's like
detail.
the people that'll correct how I speak when I'm typing.
Yeah.
And they'll like try to correct me. Oh, you missed an apostrophe here.
It doesn't matter.
You know what? Thank you for caring. I'm going to hope that people can get what my message was, and I'm not gonna be perfect.
Yeah. I do that shit all the time, dude. Even I think I was doing your post and I said something like. I said it like basically twice. I'm like, why did I say that twice? Like,
to really make sure to drive it home.
Yeah,
and I appreciated it.
Yeah, so I'm like, shit. But anyway, dude, I think we're at like over 3 hours. So
I think we're dialed in.
It's a good time to fucking end it, dude.
Yeah, man, I agree. I wanted to say thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Every time we have these connections as human beings, we're able to let some of our light show, and when we do it, encourages others to do it as well. You have given me an opportunity to sit down with you and kind of sync up our minds. Mm-hmm. It has been overwhelming for my soul, and I appreciate your conversation. I appreciate your insight.
Yeah.
You're somebody who I can probably talk to for 1,000,000 hours if I didn't have to pee already.
I know, dude. I'm about there too.
And I'm like, damn. Thank you so much for sharing life with me, brother.
Yeah, thank you too, bro. That's anytime, and like I'll have you back on probably as a regular, dude, because like I love these conversations, like, and I think it's good for people too to get some of that like reality about stuff, like, and I think like from the places that you've been and what you're doing, it's like an important story for people.
Thank you, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like finding your purpose and like, but anyway, man, I really appreciate you being here.
You too, man, brother.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys all for listening. We'll see you next time. Peace out. Yeah.